Nice.
All right. Welcome, everyone. We're live. Sorry about the small delay. We had a small audio issue, which none of us are qualified to solve. So,
apologize for my computer audio, but hey, we had to go to that as a default.
Yeah,
sounds fine.
We can make it work.
Yeah, we'll make it work. So, I think we were just talking about what everyone was drinking. So let's start there, Dave. What have you got? Are you holding something up there?
Duval.
Oh well, there you go.
But we got a color coordinated Circus liquor glass.
Oh yeah,
and that was unintentional. I just grabbed what was here. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Color coordinated.
Yeah. Dan, what have you got there?
Beam.
Double oaked high barrel Jim Beam. Very nice.
Yeah. Little nightcap. Why not?
With Diet Coke, yeah?
Coke Zero.
Coke Zero.
Yeah, because I want to be so, metal and everything. Gotta be Coke Zero.
Gotta be Coke Zero.
I was hanging out.
I'm having a Bloody Mary.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was hanging out. Sammy Bowler was here this last week, and I was hanging out with him, and he's like, "Yeah, Diet Coke now, Coke Zero. I'm in my 30s."
Yeah.
Coke Zero is pretty damn good. I like it.
Hard to beat.
It works. You just need something to mix with the whiskey, right?
Come say hi. He's hiding. Pete Thorne's hiding from you guys.
He can come say hi.
It's a scary crowd.
Apparently, he doesn't want to.
What's up, everybody?
Okay, you got.
Hey.
Yeah. So my whole computer worked, Pete, but not the audio through StreamYard.
We need some tech support.
Yeah, audio through StreamYard had delays and echoes and.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah, so I'm using the computer.
Yeah.
Back to basics.
Either that, or I'm going to get a USB mic that just plugs into the computer directly.
Yeah,
could be the way. So,
Shea, then you can do the.
Yeah, or I'll use my phone and then
does it work?
There we go. You gotta hold it.
Special effects on your phone. That's
special effects that works.
Well, I did actually. I was looking at making sure my camera was working last night, and I noticed on the Mac there's actually a reactions thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're using an iPhone, Dan, I'm actually wondering whether if I turn that on, whether it's something that works on all platforms that are Apple. So
yeah, I think so.
Something to find out.
Yeah, I think it works for everything. So
there you go.
The perks of using your iPhone.
Yeah, dealing with all the important issues.
There we go.
Works for me.
Wow.
Where's the setting?
I'm on a Mac. It's up on the Google Chrome.
It's on Google Chrome,
right?
The setting.
Yeah,
how do you turn it on?
This is important here.
Yeah.
So settings on Google Chrome. Where at? Appearance?
On the very top right, next to like the brightness setting, I have a little tab up here on my computer, and I can turn the background and other stuff like that.
Oh yeah. So this says reactions, right?
Yeah, reactions is the one. Yeah.
So it's in the top toolbar of the Mac.
Oh, okay.
Like
on the
top
right
hand side where you might have like a clock and
all right.
Let's see if this works.
There we go.
Man, we're cooking.
But hey,
I've started a trend now.
I know. You're no longer exclusive.
We're in.
Sorry, man.
Thought it was unique. Fuck.
I'll look it for it later. Whatever.
All
right. So Shea, my only question to you, man, on the drink is what recipe?
Man,
that Bloody Mary. What recipe today?
My buddy Ross came over yesterday, and I was
like,
"Send me
a video."
Bloody Mary. Yeah, and he made one, and I pretty much made the same thing. It was delicious. It's got a little bit of Guinness in it, Bloody Mary mix, Worcestershire sauce, little pickle juice, and then sriracha hot sauce. A lot of hot sauce. It's good.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And Tito's vodka. Just a little bit of that, not too much.
All right. Well, it's been 4 weeks, guys. As we know, what's been happening? What's
A
everyone
lot.
been up to?
Too much.
A lot of
feel
stuff we don't want.
Yeah.
What can you tell us, Dave? Go on.
Well, no, I mean just
Stuff.
tariffs.
Oh yeah, there's that.
But luckily, I just saw the exemption for electronic components. So that's
That's a
good.
handy one.
Is that for everything? Like
It's the last
everything
minute.
electronic?
Like, oh yeah, the computers and phones are not affected. Neither are electronic semiconductors or blah blah blah. So I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
thank God. Imagine your Shulong preamp tubes costing, I don't know, $25 wholesale.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
That would be a lot.
Ouch. Ouch. And please, no one say you can buy the parts in America. Well, they don't. They're not made.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Please find me. Our synergy coupling caps are made here, but I'm sure whatever goes into the synergy coupling cap is made somewhere else.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, the leads and the foil and everything else. So where's the fucking foil made?
Yeah.
So Shea, you teased a photo of an amp a couple of
Yeah.
days ago.
Yeah, I've
that?
got it's headed to YouTube world right now. So it's gonna be some videos coming. Pretty excited about it, and probably gonna release it. I've been telling everybody it's always 2 weeks until we'll release this amp, but it's really gonna be this week. So I'm gonna do some pre-orders, and I'm stoked. It's freaking awesome, man. I'm really happy with it. So yeah.
When's
Looks killer.
the video
Yeah,
coming out?
Well, it's just heading to a couple guys, so we'll see. Usually, I don't know. We'll see. But I'll probably open up the pre-orders before the videos hit YouTube. But should be some great content coming. Pretty excited for it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Looks wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, man.
What's new with this one?
Man, it's it's basically taking the same ideas with the switches and the icons and stuff like that. It's still a Jose amp. But that's such a loose term anyway. You know, it's like there's a billion variations of a Jose amp. But it's a high gain Jose, and it's got a really, really wide range of gain. So it can do really low gain and it can do really, really high gain. Which is, I mean, that's really kind of, that's what you want. You want it to be versatile, and it's got a great Fender style clean channel on it. And it's going to be thick, man. Really stoked on it.
Cool.
Oh, now you're going to get the people. Now you'll get the people that say, I wish the clean channel broke up a little bit.
Yeah, it's got a 3-way bright on it. It does break up a little bit.
This is my progression from a clean channel to the plexi clean channel.
Plexi clean.
Yeah,
because everyone kept going, and then of course you do it, and then they're like, oh, maybe the Fender one was better. Oh fuck me.
Yeah.
It's weird, I have the opposite problem because most of the time people who are coming to me are saying like, is the clean, or is it
Really?
like
Not here?
Yeah, like for me, they're going for that all the time. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm going for like the really high gain thing on the overdrive channel, so they then want to be able to like guarantee they can do like that sort of, super.
Yeah, there's no middle
glassy.
ground with those guys, Dan. It's just one extreme and then the other.
It never. You can't win. I've decided.
Yeah, because I also I really like a plexi type clean.
Yeah, a little grit in the clean,
100%.
And then thing is, I always tell people with the plexi channels, just set the gain high, really high on it.
Yeah.
It's not that gainy. It's like AC/DC kind of. But then use your volume knob on your guitar.
Yeah.
You roll down and it gets totally clean.
Yeah.
So you'll have all of it just with your knob on that channel, because it doesn't get any more than an AC/DC sort of, kind of vibe max.
Yeah.
Well, you've heard. like a
Yeah,
small
yeah.
clean or something. It's just crunchy.
Yeah, and also the B Deluxe clean channel's really
Yeah,
cool.
same thing. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So it's
it literally is
something like
verbatim a plexi with just a regular master volume on it.
yeah.
You
It's
know,
a great one, and you can do a lot with it. You can go you can go a bit crunchy, or you can, you can make it clean.
yeah,
To be honest, I always think as well, it also comes down to what you're doing with your guitar as well, because like if you're on a bridge pickup, like 90% of players are playing JBs or other pickups that are sort of medium hot,
mhm.
and if you're expecting to get clean, even on something Fenderish, with a bridge pickup that's putting out some oomph,
Yeah.
you're gonna struggle to not break that thing up anyway a little bit. So
It's true.
if you position 4
Man,
thing on a strat,
it's so true, man. I
Yeah.
had actually had that experience with a guy who's a huge fan of a JB,
yeah,
and he was actually here one day testing an amp,
Nothing
and he was going for that clean tone, and he was still on the bridge pickup. I was like, dude,
sounds
go to
kind
the neck.
yeah.
Go he's like, no, I never do that. I was like, man, try it. Like, trust me.
Yeah, but like bare minimum, like if you can do if you've got a 2 humbucker guitar middle position, or even a coil tap, coil split thing,
Yeah.
on a bridge it works okay, but
cool split on
know,
a JP works really well because it's still 8. It's like that would be like. What are they?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you're probably at 6 or
like
7K at that point or something.
Like
yeah,
8K still.
it's a healthy coil.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a healthy coil. I mean, it's it's still got some
Or
power to it,
parallel.
but it's
Parallel.
nice though.
Parallel's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, parallel.
Yeah, parallels also cool. It gets a little bit more of that kind of I don't know. I always hear a little bit more of that like bridge Telecaster thing with
Yeah,
parallel.
The funny thing. The funny thing is, like, everyone wants more gain and all this stuff. Oh, more gain. I need more gain. And then you deal with pro players, like real pro players. Like, for instance, I took the Jose amp to Richard Fortus and Guns N' Roses, and we were sitting there because he's going to use it.
Nice.
We were sitting there dialing it in, and so he was in the Jose channel, just the normal Jose channel, not no clipping diodes of any kind, just the normal Jose channel, and he pulled the first gain, the out of the first gain stage, back to 2 on the dial.
Mm-hmm.
What, like nearly 9 o'clock?
As in, yeah.
Oh wow!
Pulled it back to there.
Wow!
And it still sounded dirty, and it still sounded good, but that's where he was using it.
This is so out of the Jose stage, out of the extra stage, you had it down to 2 of 10.
Yeah,
like 9
and that
AM.
worked better because we have a plexi mode on that amp also, which at first was like, well, let's just take the gain stage out if you want less. But that was spittier because you didn't have the high end roll off of that first stage, and he liked high end roll off and rolled back like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you stood back and heard it, it was so dynamic and so great sounding in context of the kind of music he's playing. And then he'll also, like for a lead sound, he'll hit it with a pedal. Not rhythm stuff, but just for a lead sound, for various different kinds of pedals, depending on what he's going for. Cool. And it was glorious sounding. It was also loud.
Yeah.
The master was up 4 or 5 or 4, so it was kicking.
Yeah. Maybe
sure.
maybe you wouldn't like it so much that low if the master wasn't pushing a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was pushing it. And but it just kind of puts it in perspective.
Yeah. Well, he's probably got gain hands too, right?
But when you heard it, it sounded perfect. Now he had good hands, so
he's killer player. I mean,
beast of a player.
Playing his like hollow bodies and stuff that he does,
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you described your amp as a Jose, and it made me think: is that just become a term now that we use to describe a Marshall-oriented amp? Like,
I don't. It's so.
You know what I mean?
It's
like Jose, it's so broad. Well, it can.
It's a genre. It's like a genre, really. But it's like, but you can like Jose anything. You can add a little Jose element to an amp, and then is it a Jose? I don't know. It's
really about that first gain stage and how it and the voltage divider after it. So
Yeah.
so
I would
that's
agree with
what-
that.
that's what makes it the Jose. Well, there's clipping diodes and this and that, but
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
but the vast majority of those amps, you know, for me, all the ones I worked on didn't have the clipping diodes.
No.
So he did a lot that was just the gain stage, you know.
Yeah, I
It's
think I was going to say, I think a lot of that characteristic sound with a Jose type amp, you know, is that hot plate resistor,
Hmm.
you know, and a skinny coupling cap. You know, I know obviously you've got the voltage divider and everything after that, like lops it half, you know, 50% of the gain off and kind of shapes it, but still, it's like, you know, you with that skinny cap as well as that hot plate resistor, you really get like a particular kind of snappy front end response that I think as soon as that part of the recipe is there, you've kind of baked in a little bit of that character already, and whatever comes after it, that first stage is going to shape really that whole vibe of the amp.
I think you're
To
right,
me,
man.
it's that way.
Pretty interesting. I think when sorry,
Go ahead, Jason.
I was just going to say, when people ask for a Jose mod, you know, so you might get contacted. I'm sure it happens to all four of us, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And the guy says, I want you to Jose mod my whatever, Marshall. And then when you ask them what they mean, they don't actually know. They just they're thinking about a sound.
Yeah.
Like, what Jose mod? I don't know. Just like
Oh no, good one.
a good
Yeah.
one.
The best one.
But it's
In
just
that
it's
for me-
that
for me,
sound.
For me, what that means in that case is do it with the two style different masters, do it with and without clipping diodes across the board, you know. Give them everything basically, you know, the
Yeah.
basic, you know. Oh, wait.
Oh, there he is.
Hey.
Basically, what you did for my amp.
Mm.
Yeah, the push pull master and all that.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Wait, you know what's nice about that? I just say because it's like he did that on mine because you don't know until so you get like the kitchen sink of it, and then you're like, oh, this is the way I like it the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then realize you don't need half of it.
Yeah, you don't need all the other.
Yeah.
And how do you, Pete? How do you set
What's that?
you set yours?
Well, I like what Dave likes, which is just the gain mod with the postmaster with no clipping diodes.
No diodes. Yeah, right.
That's
Yeah.
the best kind of because it sounds the most like
An old cranked Marshall.
yeah.
That's
then
kind of like the Mick Mars, the Richard Fortis amp
Yeah.
that you had on the channel, Pete. That kind of set like that.
Yeah, that amp,
No diodes in that amp.
That's that.
no diodes. That amp didn't have anything else, did it?
No.
Yeah, but that amp was hauntingly interesting. I don't know. So I mean, you've got theories about that, but it's
Well, there's one thing different. One thing different. The second plate resistor at some point had been changed to like around a 220K instead of
Oh
100.
wow.
Sorry, what was that? Cut out on me.
The second plate resistor
Yeah.
in the amp was changed to around a 220K.
Oh, okay.
So it was getting a little bit more gain out of that second stage, and you know. But
Yeah.
that was a little gushier, a little more gain. You know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, you get a little more sizzle with it as well. With the higher you go, right? You get like some of those like odd harmonics that
Yeah.
sound really good with gain.
You know, the funny thing is, you ever think about this too? Like, you take that first stage you were talking about, how, you know, yes, you got the low plate resistor and you have all that gain there, and then you're lopping it off after with a small cap and everything. But if you ever think about it, if you change the plate resistor, so then you're gonna get, you know, to say 100K, let's say, you're gonna get less gain there.
Yeah.
But if you then compensate for that by changing the voltage divider some,
Yeah.
then it's going to get the same gain back again.
Hmm.
And then you can always compensate what value coupling cap it is for keeping
Yeah.
tighter. There's a little teeter-totter you can do with that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All
Probably
that stuff in the front end.
probably make it sound identical.
Yeah.
You know, I don't. You know, so does it have to be that low plate resistor? Maybe not. Maybe you can make it sound identical if you played with it for a second. You know, I just thinking about that the other day. It's just something that popped into my head.
Yeah, I think
That's true.
I think the difference you run into with it, with the at least what I found with the when you bump the plate resistor, like let's say you go kind of overboard, like hotter than a Jose style, you know, 330K thing, you know, like going right
470K?
up to. Sorry.
470K?
Yeah, I used to do
man.
that. I used to do 470K on the.
If
on
you
the
like
original
DC on the
ones.
grid, then go for it.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, 95 volts or 100 volts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
that is it, man. So
Yeah.
You better put a cap on the grid.
Yeah,
That's where you're
exactly.
going with that,
They all
right,
had to have
man?
the cap on it.
That's where you're going with that, right? Because you do change the voltage on the plate.
Yeah,
With that-
absolutely. It massively changes it, and
with
then
that
you know the grid starts to conduct. You know, and you've got like millivolts sitting there on your grid and everything. So it's but there is I don't know. There's a weird thing that happens though when you get higher with that plate resistor to the feel, and I've not quite been able to replicate the same effect by doing it in reverse, like we were saying. Like it's both have got their own cool thing happening, so it's like it's kind of cool that they're not like 100% the same. Like the feel is also a bit different. Like to my hands, it feels a bit different with the really hot plate resistor and locking all that gain off.
Yeah.
Versus the other way round, but it's cool because you know having both options there, you can.
Well, that's right, man.
You can tailor an amp exactly to a player. You know, some guys might not like the really hot plate resistor sound. You know,
It's a little.
switch it up.
You can get a little soft sounding.
Yeah. It almost gets like a weird thing as well because when you roll like with the high plate resistor, doing like the Jose thing, when you roll off the guitar's volume control, it responds a certain way that's really cool. It has a little bit of a like, I don't know, to me it always sounds a little bit glassy when I get down low, like with those, which I don't know, it's just cool. It sort of gives this interesting sound, you know, the fact that you can kind of just completely just vary your gain so much with just the volume control and not even going near the amp. It's pretty neat.
Well, then you need the old Jose rotary plate resistor switch.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Which and then you can actually hear what you're saying.
You certainly need to build. We certainly need to build one to test with anyway. I don't know if
I've done that like before. I've strapped in like a rotary switch, like a decade box full of you know resistors, like, and you just sit there and just play around with it, and you kind of don't want to commit to one value, which is the thing.
Well, there you go.
You do one with the cathode as well, then you can endlessly dial.
Oh yeah, that's another one that really shifts everything around.
Yeah.
Especially if you put like a parallel capacitor box with the variable resistor as well, so you've got both options, so you can bypass it and change the bypass cap, and
So what you're saying is you can drive yourself completely insane until
absolutely.
Could you imagine, Dan, having those three knobs as a feature on an amp and then putting it out there? Man, how many questions?
Oh my god! Oh.
And then as you go through this throughout the day and you waste your whole day on it, you realize in the end that the spot you like one
right away. the one that you liked the first time.
Yeah, the one you liked the first time. You come back to exactly what you started with.
Yeah.
I just like to keep that first stage around 140 volts.
Yeah, I agree, man.
It works good.
You know,
yeah,
I mean,
it's a good spot.
Down to 135 at the lowest, or 135 to 145, somewhere in there.
It's definitely a good rule of thumb
because that keeps the voltage off the input grid, and then you don't have to put a cap. And
so is that with a Chinese 12x7 logo?
No, Chinese actually are pretty good. They generally don't have too much of a problem with the bleeding voltage. It's a JJ or something like that that's massively having a problem with that.
Yeah, because I was going to say sometimes, like with JJ's, even with everything else kind of in line, yeah, I'll get that lower voltage there on the first, on the first note, and but it's cool though. I like the JJ's. They're gainy and they're kind of they're
I like 'em
forgiving
too.
a little bit.
Yeah,
I
I'm a
like
fan.
them I like them in the first stage. I actually kind of like what they do sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I've even had a situation where I've not had a JJ in the front end, and I've been like chasing my tail a little bit, wondering like, oh man, I'm not sure about the feel of this one, and I'm like tweaking things, I'm changing voltages, I'm like, hang about, did I put a JJ in the V1? And then I'll check, and it's got some, like an EH or something in there, which I'm not really a fan of. And as soon as you pop the JJ in, it's like, there it is,
Yeah.
it's back again. So
Yeah.
it's got that
Especially
kind
right
of
in the
like
front end.
gruesome
It's a
feel.
huge deal right there in the front end.
Mm-hmm.
The first tube's super important.
Mm.
Yeah, or you can sit down with an amp when you're finally at the end and you're like, let's play with some tubes, and they sit there for a while just messing around in the amp you're working on, and you're just like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. It can either be a good thing or it can send you back down the rabbit hole, and then you start messing with the recipe all over again.
I had one amp that came in that had the Genelec gold pin tubes in it.
Oh yeah,
The new Genelec gold pin tubes.
I haven't seen them.
And at first I'm like, well, okay, let's just see, And I was messing around with it and listening to them and going back and forth between my normal tubes that I would use and stuff versus what he had in the amp, and I'm like, hey, these are pretty good.
Yeah.
Expensive,
worth
but
the extra money.
I haven't seen them.
they sounded
likes 'em?
pretty good, and the top end was kind of interesting on them. I liked it. It wasn't too bright, but it had a kind of cool character to it. I was actually a little surprised.
Yeah. Who
And I
makes them?
tried other things, and I was like, I think I like these better.
Yeah. Who's making those now?
I mean, I think they're. That's good. I mean, it's a Russian tube. I think it's made in Russia.
I was going to say, if it's Genelec, it's coming out of the Russia factory, isn't it? I mean, I'm only guessing, to be honest. But
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not one to go, oh yeah, those are fucking expensive. Is what they are.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing.
hey, they actually sounded pretty cool. So I was like, oh, that's neat. That's good to know.
Right on.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm gonna buy any, but it's
Yeah.
good to
I
know.
need to test them out and try them. I don't know if I tried those or if it was thinking of something else, maybe Gold Lion or something. I don't know.
I mean, they were hot. I mean, the Genelec gold pin ones. They had good gain and stuff, and it wasn't. They weren't wimpy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to have a strong preamp tube in that first spot. You can always go with something a little bit lower gain, like in the preceding, in the following stages. Just to kind of.
I might get to a few questions. I might get to a few questions in the chat, guys.
All
Say
right.
hi. Say hi to everybody. It's not just. It's easy to think it's just the four of us, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're ignoring everyone. Sorry.
I know. Hi guys. We're all stoked that you're here. We've got 101 online, so that's awesome.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So we've got a question here from Kevin. We'll throw this open to the panel. Any advantages or disadvantages doing a ground lift on a speaker cable on the amp side? By accident, my cat pulled out the jack just enough that the speaker was still working and it sounded better.
Yeah, but your ground would still be connected if you're speaking.
Must be, right?
Yeah.
So
you wouldn't have any sound. You'd like.
Yeah, it would just be pull it right off the tip and it wouldn't be there. That would be bad.
Yeah. Maybe
your cat got out of the way of the speaker and it sounded better.
Maybe the cat was making the connection, like holding the cable and cat variac.
The cat variac. Okay, here we go, Dave. This is from Walrus. Dave, the HV switch you added to my B50 is awesome. I play with it on almost exclusively. Have you considered adding this switch to other amps? So what is this, Dave?
This is what we were talking about. So on this particular amp, he had a mode that it was a B50 that I had changed. So you kind of had sort of a JEL circuit, which has a 100K plate on the first stage. So I'm like, well, I can make it pretty much exactly like it if we just change the voltage on that stage. And so I just put a switch in that you could just go 2 voltages, more of the Jose voltage or the higher voltage.
Oh, cool.
Great.
Yeah.
Right on.
And apparently it's killer.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, it obviously is.
It was interesting to hear, even if you do a little 2-way, switch or a 3-way switch, it's there's no current there really, so you can use a small switch to do it.
Yeah.
Yes, pops, of course, but
Did you have
He
something
also-
like that in one of your other amps?
yeah, in a Phil X amp,
That's
I
the one.
had
Got it.
one of the main dropping resistors before the phase inverter. I changed
Yes.
the voltage across the entire board.
Yeah.
So
After
one
the
was
screen
really
note.
high and one was more like normal. And
Yeah.
I would literally just short across one of the 2 resistors that are in series with each other.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And,
That's cool.
and it
So
was,
was-
a cool switch. You heard what it did. It was like,
Yeah.
ooh, a little spongier, a little softer,
Yeah.
ooh, old, and
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good
How
spot.
did
Right there.
how does Phil set that switch, Dave? Does he play with it with the 2 resistors in or just the
I'm
one?
not exactly sure. That's a good question.
Yeah, probably
I'm not sure.
switches it back and forth.
It's probably like speaker and guitar dependent, I think. I guess.
Yeah,
Guess he uses it in the higher voltage. He likes like not a lot of gain and really percussive kind of sounding stuff.
Yeah, he must have gainy hands.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah, he'll turn the gain way down and it still sounds great.
Absolute monster player.
Yeah,
oh yeah, man.
So good.
he came through at NAMM this year and then played on the Jose for a while. And then I looked at him and I go, well, of course you're gonna have to play some Van Halen. And he started from top to bottom like a medley of songs all put together like a medley, one to the next, and like he was playing some
Brilliant.
outro solos to things and stuff and like some obscure things, and you were just like, oh yeah, that's great. Keep going.
He's
And there's a
awesome.
crowd that come around the booth and like everyone's filming it and stuff.
He actually makes me want to pick up a guitar and play every time I watch him.
Yeah, he's fun.
He's got that like infectious thing when he plays. It's just cool.
Yeah, he's there's that clip of him and the Drills playing cover of Fairies Wear Boots. Have
Oh
you
yeah.
seen this in the studio? Have you seen this? Man,
I don't think I've seen that clip, but I have actually seen him play that song. Went to a party at his house. Where,
it's so good. Yeah.
yeah, we're not even sure if he was singing on that one, but the party at his house where basically his basic band was playing.
Yeah, right.
It was awesome.
He sings that clip. It's just kind of live in the studio. It's him and so it's Matt Starr on drums and Dan, whatever. I'm not sure his surname, on bass. It's the Drills band, and Phil sings it as well. It's just a 3-piece, right? It's just you can watch it. Just go and find it, right? Phil X, Fairies Wear Boots.
Yeah.
Find it. Absolutely killer. Let's move on. We got one about ground schemes here, guys. Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy. The best Plexi mod is returning it to stock. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Except
Wrong.
for the ground.
Wrong.
Wrong.
You're talking to the wrong guys. Yeah.
Mm.
Except for the ground scheme. What ground scheme do you like for Marshall circuits? And also, how are the PS Vane 12AX7s and EL34s? Well, I'm going to say, so the ground scheme, Lyle, Psionic Audio, has a video explaining ground schemes as it relates to Marshalls.
I have a theory on this.
It's a really good video to watch to start to kind of
Yeah.
understand ground schemes and different approaches. What's your theory, Dave?
I mean, yes, I understand in a perfect world, well, actually in a perfect world, you have one ground point. And then everything flowed down the proper spots down the thing. But like taking an old Marshall, you're modding a Marshall. One thing that you have an old amp, and some of the things that I've realized is if you DC the heaters of the amp, or at least the first few tubes, right? Maybe even 3, the first one. If you just do that right away, I would say 95% of all your noise issues are completely gone. Even with the standard grounding that Marshall had.
Yep.
It's quiet enough where you're just like, well, it's quieter than the Marshall ever was to begin with. And then if you start messing around with the grounding, you get not necessarily any better. Now, the other thing on old amps, always pull the pots off and sand the back of the chassis a little bit. And make sure there's lock washers on them and put them back on and tighten them down really good. Because when that connection starts breaking down, the whole amp is humming and doing all sorts of weird shit. It's diminishing returns, I think. Sometimes I think you can just get away with just DCing the heaters and then you're good. And some amps will not be quiet unless you DC the heaters. Period.
Yeah.
And I've had several recently that have given me that trouble. And I'm just like, forget it. I'm just DCing the heaters from now on. I just can't deal anymore. It's
just on the thing with the pots, Dave, on those old amps. One of the things that I've been doing to most amps that come through now is I will add a ground connection from that bus bar on the back of the pots to the ground point on the preamp can cap.
Yeah. That kind of that'll fix the problem with the pots not making the thing. But also if you just sand them and I just pull them off, a little bit of rough sandpaper up the chassis and put them back on, tighten them down really good. As long as they have lock washers, it'll be quiet.
That's the main point.
And
right?
I like taking that filter cap and bringing it to the bus instead of having it grounded over there,
Yeah.
I mean, you can do all the things with the grounding, but it's like diminishing returns sometimes. So it's like
I think the thing with grounding is that you also if you radically change the grounding on a vintage amp, with hopes to kind of like quiet the thing up and everything else, you can kind of change the feel. You can change the feel, and I've actually many times I've done a very specific kind of grounding layout that is using a variety of chassis grounds, different points where you'll group, say, a particular gain stage quite far away down like the preamp end of the chassis, and maybe another one near the middle, and another one down by the filter caps and everything. And I've played around with, it can be like even if you've got 3 or 4 ground points there, you don't tend to get like ground loops with it. It works great, but you're separating the ground, the ground connections from certain stages in the amp, and when they were kind of sharing the same immediate path, sometimes you'll find that the more you separate them apart, you can actually make the amp a little bit stiffer. Which is a strange one. Like you can almost tune the feel a little bit more. Like once you've got it like to where you want, you can start playing with moving grounds in certain places, and you can change the feel up a bit. And if you're not careful, you can steer it in a direction that you might not like with a stock amp. If you really loved the sound of it when it had the crappy ground scheme, you might not like it when you change it.
It's part of the original vibe, isn't it?
It is. It's the imperfections. But if you kind of know from experience like what you can do with custom grounding, you can use it to your advantage. You know what I mean? If you're doing a different circuit, perhaps you would also tune the circuit when you do grounding a certain way. That's, at least for me, it's that way. Because You know, if you end up with a slightly stiffer response, then you can do other things in the preamp section that make it feel different, and you know.
Cool.
But it's a lot of shit to mess around with, you know. So you sort of have to have some experience with that particular thing, otherwise you'll just chase your tail.
That's why I say, like, if you're modding an existing old amp, and you go ahead and DC the heaters because you're adding another tube or something, and you know you're going to have to do it.
Yeah.
And once you do that, do the modifications and see where you're at, and see how quiet the amp is. 9 times out of 10, the amp's quiet enough.
Yeah.
Or quite.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe not as perfect as, you know, a production amp that you ideally suited the ground, but quieter than the amp ever was. And to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, come on, how many times you just take a standard JCM 800 or something and you turn the preamp gain at 0 and crank the master to 10? How much noise is there? Sometimes a ton.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and often though, DCing the tubes then fixes that noise.
That's the main thing, you know. If you get rid of the hum and the things that are actually bothering you, you're kind of there, really.
Yeah.
You know, if there's something else about it you don't like, then fair enough. Like, then you can dig deeper and start, you know, moving grounds and changing the schemes. But, you know, I don't know.
I think it's just one of those things that if you need, it's worth experimenting with.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, you know, you want to play around with different plate resistors and so on and see what that does. Well, play around with ground points and see what that does too. It's, you know, it does make
ground is not just ground, is it? Like, you know what I mean? It's not like you see this on so many amps, like, where it's just like, oh yeah, there's the chassis. Oh, that will do. You know, it's like, just stick the ground there on a shield, or stick the ground there for a cathode or whatever, and it's like no consideration to where they're putting it.
No, exactly.
You know,
so if you want to, if
like
you guys,
sorry,
if I was just going to say, if the guys want to kind of start that journey by understanding a bit of theory around grounding, watch that video from Lyle.
Yeah,
Marshall grounding schemes. I can't remember. I think it's over 2 videos, or it's just 1 video, but he posted it maybe 2 years ago.
It kind of
is that the one where he puts the shield over the chassis?
He does do that, but he gets a pen and paper and he draws out like the current flow through the triodes and the cathode resistors down to ground, and kind of like you know, kind of best practice. He does like best practice versus the reality of what you're dealing with in a Marshall. It's just like this conversation, right? It's like, well, there's this best practice thing, but then like you're dealing with ground points that are already there, and you've got can caps with shared grounds across 2 nodes, so you can't actually separate them.
Yeah,
you know, like
well, especially in 50 watts and the 100 watts, you can separate it more. But
yeah, that's true.
You know, it kind of all started with the Larry grounding. You know, with those little ground points on the chassis and stuff.
Yeah, the Larry thing, exactly.
That's sort of where that all came from.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
and then you
exactly.
know,
that's a great point.
Has different stages attached to it. You know,
but also, you know, if you have the,
I remember doing Larry grounding an amp, and then the amp oscillated. So stock ground fine.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's booby trapped it.
I don't know, man. You know, it's
look, I know, man.
Yeah.
Freaking rabbit hole.
Yeah, also the Kevin O'Connor books have got a good thing on grounding. You know, they have like the galactic grounding thing they talk about in that, which is good.
Yeah, and so is the Martin.
Merlin is it?
Merlin.
The Merlin, the Martin Blanco books are good.
Yeah, Valve Wizard, isn't it?
Valve Wizard, yeah. Even on the website.
Grounding theory behind the grounding in that is good.
Yeah, those are great books. Both of those ones that he put out, they're excellent. Has
anyone ever seen what he looks like? I haven't. Has anyone seen him ever?
No,
I always imagine like someone out of Harry Potter with like the big tall hat and the big beard that goes down to the floor.
Yeah, exactly, right.
And he's like holding like a fucking great big like KT-120 like in his hand.
Oh shit!
I was like,
what's the wizard's name? I can't even remember now. What's the wizard's name in Harry Potter? fucking remember.
Oh, what is it?
Not Gandalf. That's fucking Lord of the Rings.
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore.
Yeah, Dumbledore.
Yeah.
That's
Classic.
hilarious.
Any comment about PS Veins before we move off this question?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the PS Vane EL34s are great. The that would be the EL34C, not the UK one that they also make.
I haven't tried those yet.
I haven't
Those are
tried either
great.
of them.
We use them in production. We have zero issues with them.
Do they sound like anything else?
I don't know what I don't know if I can tell you what it sounds like exactly.
Yeah.
It sounds good.
Well, you like the EHs as
Different
well,
than the
don't you?
JJ.
Right?
We don't use EH anymore.
No, but you like the sound of those, didn't you? Before?
Well, here's the thing. When I moved to the EH, it's because they were pretty reliable.
yeah.
And they sounded pretty close to an old German, RFT kind of.
Yeah.
tube. Not
Yeah, those are my
quite. They were a
favorite.
little crispier in the top end.
Yeah.
Are we talking preamp tubes or power amp tubes here?
Power tubes.
Power tubes. The
Yeah.
skinny balls, I like those. The EH ones, I think those are great.
They worked good for a long time.
I love them.
Until the Russian war and then everything, and then your tube went 3 times the price.
Yeah, they shot up to the they're real
Yeah.
expensive now.
Yeah, they're pricey here as well.
A mess. That's a mess. And thank God the PS Vane ones came along. I think they're really good. I think they sound really good. And we've had zero issues in the field with them.
That's always a
You
good
get
sign.
occasional something that goes funky, but not really.
Yeah.
So those are good. I still, in some circuits, like if I AB it to a JJ in certain amps, I use the JJs in the Plex because I like how that tube sounds in that amp better. And I use them in the JEL amp just because I kind of like them better in that amp. I listen to both and I'm like, I think I like that one better. If I got a choice, I'll
Yeah.
not massively better.
What do you think about the 12AX7 PS Vanes, Dave?
Well, those actually now are great.
Have they changed?
Well, I mean, we've been using them for a long time since they started, right? And when they first started, they were a mess. But now we're getting consistently good ones, and they've been consistently kind of more balanced and better. And
see, that's good. That's the problem because I bought a box from the factory.
Issues went away.
That's good. I bought a box from the factory. It's been years ago now, but I mean,
early
on
on,
the test here. They're everywhere. They're all over the place. So, and it sucks. I still got a big box of them.
Well, we test them all, so we sort them.
Yeah.
When we get them because we get a lot of them, and we sort of sort them for they can't be more than 5 numbers apart in each side.
Yeah,
just pretty normal for a tube. And but most of them are better, and now most of the gains are up above 90.
The box that I have were pretty low.
Maxi matcher, preamp tube tester kind of thing.
Yeah.
So now they've proven to be quite good.
Right on.
I mean, but of course now Shugong came back, with the 12A7B. We're still using the PS Vane as a standard tube, except we use JJ in the first slots.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that combination seems to work really well, and it's been reasonably reliable, and it's cool.
Awesome.
Right on.
All right. We've got a super chat here from Humbucker. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Best sounding PPIMV circuit for a 50-watt Plexi reissue. Lamar, Rich Mod.
None
well,
of
Dave,
it.
you've got a post phase inverter on the Plex, so we would assume that's the best one, of course.
I actually think that is the best sounding one.
Yeah. I agree.
Of course, now they're going to be like, well, what is it?
Yeah.
You have talked about, but you have, to be fair, you have talked about that circuit on live streams.
It's so easy. It's
more
not
than
even
once.
It's so simple, and it does work. You've tried it, right, Jason?
Oh yeah, a bunch. Yeah.
Works better than the standard Lamar.
I think so. I've played around with the taper actually. So I've played with audio and linear taper.
Yeah.
Did you settle on one or the other?
Use audio.
Audio.
Yeah, well, otherwise linear comes on too fast.
Yeah, it comes on too quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
We use audio, and actually, to be honest, you could use maybe a smaller value pot too if you want, because you start to realize you're varying the bias resistors essentially, and you start to realize that when you have it on a pot and listening to it and what it's doing, and you start to realize most of the tapers in the first 1 to 4 maybe, and then the rest of it doesn't sound that much different really.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, does it have to be the 250K pot? No, I don't think it does.
Yeah.
I think with the post phase inverter masters, generally speaking, you still have to crank them a bit, otherwise the amp just doesn't sound.
Yeah.
I don't know, right? You can wash a bit of volume off, but
that one sounds particularly still pretty good, even at whisper volumes. Yes, there is a little juiciness lacking to it, but that one sounds particularly good still.
I like to use it in reverse. Like I start like with it maxed out as if it's not there, and then go backwards, and then I find what I can handle standing in front of it, and then like when I'm there, then I'm like, okay, there we are, we're good.
Right.
Because I don't like going the
I
other way,
like
because,
that theory.
well, yeah, because the thing is, I don't know, like for me, it's just like if you're playing like a plexi amp, you're just used to it being really fierce in front of you in the room, it's like really ridiculous. So like when you start really low with a master volume like that, you feel like, oh shit, it's like doesn't have the same roar to it, but because it seems a bit tame, but if you go reverse and you kind of like start with the crazy loud and bring it back, you kind of, I don't know, just a different way of like
just
going about it.
Get yourself a new 2 notes reload 2.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you played with that a bit more, Dave?
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
I might have to get one.
Yeah, really good.
I like what those guys are doing. They're doing some cool stuff.
Yeah. I like a stereo rig as well with that kind of thing, so it's perfect for that.
Yeah, it's really cool for that. It's really neat for stereo and stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah. Another super chat here. Thanks. Would you ever consider doing a plugin of the Evil Joe for us poor folks? I love what you guys do. Yeah, of course I would. The question would be how and what platform. But so when you say plugin, maybe put a comment in the chat about like, do you mean like?
I might have a solution in the future.
Okay. Sounds interesting. What can you tell us about that, Dave?
I can't tell any more right now.
Not much. You always do that.
After this show's over.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Hey, Jason, when you were here
all you
last time, what's that, Dave?
For all you guys.
When you were here last time, Jason, and we did the Evil Joes, I had just bought a quad Cortex around that time.
Did.
And we made a capture on it. Damn, it sounds great. That sounds, I mean, I still will go play that sometimes. I'm like, man, this is a great freaking capture of that amp.
Quad's good, man. It is.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's a great
play
unit.
with the quad. Yeah, I've got the Kemper, but I haven't got the quad.
It's cool, man. Like I love the form factor. Like it's pretty compact, like it's when people see them for the first time on a pedal board, the one of the first comments I've always heard is like, oh man, the switches are pretty close together. Like, if you've got big feet, you might kind of accidentally press stuff, but you're trading a bit of that. Like it's a really compact kind of unit, and with a big touchscreen, it's just so easy to use, and it sounds amazing. Like
those companies,
around with one.
They still haven't figured out the 4-cable method thing because they're so noisy. But if you just inject straight into the power amp, they sound great. but they're so noisy to use with an amp and 4-cable method.
The Kemper I've got is the power rack one, you know. Got the big power amp in it and everything. So I've never even hooked it up to a separate power section or anything. But,
did anyone tried one of these?
No,
I have
what's that?
This is
is this the effects unit one they made?
Yeah, this is like the new. You know, they had the FX8. If anyone can remember that. Yeah. So this is like, I guess, the next generation of that. It's virtual pedal board for VP4, so you can have 4 blocks. It's set up to use with the tube amp. Like, there's no amp modeling in this. It's just effects.
Perfect.
Great.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's
like
really cool. And the editor is really simple.
It is great. It's just like the normal X fractal editor, you know, like
use, simple to get around on. You can do a 4-cable method if you want, if in mono though.
Yeah, well, that's what I've been trying, Dave. So this actually was lent to me by Andrew from Independent Music. He's the distributor for Fractal in Australia. So thanks, Andrew. And so far, all I've done with it is 4-cable method. And
I haven't done that at all. I've only put it in a loop.
Yeah.
Does it suck the tone?
Well, no. Like, it's a little bit of a ground loop, right? But you have that. They have the hum buster thing, so it tries to. But it did sound better when I used my EbTech hum eliminator, isolation transformer.
Yeah.
And I put that into the 4-cable method. It was clean as, and it's no tone suck at all.
I always find this hilarious that they've designed everything with ground loops. Just like the decimator pedal, just like
that's crazy, man.
Other loop pedals and gate pedals, and I'm like, if I ever do one, that won't be the case.
Yeah, you'd make a good one. Make one.
You know? Just put little.
Well, I can't remember whether we
could be making one.
Yeah,
make one, dude.
I still can't believe that someone that an amp hasn't launched with a switchable isolation transformer on the front end built into the amp. No one's done it, to my knowledge.
Because no one understands any of this stuff.
No one understands it, I know.
Yeah.
Well, people understand ground lift switches, don't they?
No, people don't understand ground loops.
No.
But like a ground, like an XLR out always has a ground lift switch.
Yeah, but people don't even understand impedance. So
no.
I mean, judging from the emails I get. Oh, like
I know. This complicates things too much, doesn't it?
Oh man. Okay.
Let
me explain this to you for the 100th time.
All right. Let's. Son of Pyro. Thanks, man. Appreciate the super chat. I need more wall outlets. 2 heads, ABY, PS100, 2 18-volt pedals, and a pedal power supply. Maybe a brown box for heads and strip for the rest, or a strip/conditioner for all. Thoughts on products? No rack, sadly.
Good power strip.
Power strips, yeah. Like, I don't know.
Get a power strip. Friedman makes some like little power strips you can get that have some RF filtering and stuff in it.
That's what I've got. I've got one of those. It works good.
You know, and not too expensive.
Yeah.
That's a non-rack? It's just like a power strip.
Yeah, just a strip that has like 2 rows of, I forgot how many are.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Friedman makes it. It has.
Yeah.
$60
or something. I don't know. Not too much.
Like that. Get one of those and use that, and you'll be fine. A brown box is not a terrible thing. You could also use a Variac for the same purpose.
Yeah. Just measure your wall voltage and find out if it's like way off or something. And if it's worth doing, then maybe invest in one. If it's like close enough to what the amp wants to see, then maybe you don't need it. You know, it's like
coolest thing I have in the bench at the factory is a Kikusui power supply.
Oh yeah.
I can just put in any voltage and any hertz.
Yeah,
it's anything I want. It's like in 1 volt increments.
Yeah, I need something like that.
It's fun. You know, it's like, here's what it sounds like at 50 hertz. Okay, cool. So any 240, 220, whatever voltage
Yeah.
amps. We test them. I test them on that at 50 hertz.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it. You know, stick your voltage up to like 245, and then you're about spot on for here. You know,
You have 245.
yeah, it's about 245 out of the wall here.
Oh
Yeah,
wow!
This is my thing. So this is my thing. Like we ship all the amps at 240 to every country that's supposed to be 230.
yeah,
Yeah.
But I
Mhm.
generally find that none of the countries are actually 230.
No.
Occasionally you get one that is. They're
Yeah.
more like 235.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's only 5 volts shy, you know. It's not too bad,
Mm.
you know. If it is 230, it's only 10 volts shy. That's not even that bad. You know, I just think it's safer to ship them at 240 for me.
Yeah.
Because over voltage is bad.
Yeah.
Sounds bad,
Yeah.
sounds awful. Ugh.
Yeah, it makes everything stiffer.
Stiff and bright and harsh and just
Completely agree.
yeah. So
You probably answered this question 100 times, Dave, but my understanding, so the question is for anyone's listening to this just on audio, says Curtis is asking Dave, what were the changes to Adam Jones's super bass? Was the whole circuit converted to a super lead? My understanding is pretty much yes. Is that right, though?
it's mostly a super lead. I posted what it was years ago.
You did? It's on the Metro forum, I think.
I do not remember everything about it, but it did have cathodes of a super lead spec, so 2.7, 0.68. But the first coupling cap was not a 002; it was an 022. And then the next, going into the cathode follower, there was a cap across the 820 ohm. Can't remember if it was a 0.47 or a 0.68. And I do remember the presence was a 0.68, I think. And I think the coupling caps in the phase inverter were 022s.
Yeah.
So, and the EQ was lead, 33K.
Yeah.
And 500 pipe. So really, yes, super lead mostly, slightly different presence cap, and a little bit fatter.
Do you think
wicked? It sounded, to be honest, when you crank that amp up, and he jumpers the channels too, if I recall.
Yeah,
but
I
if
think
you're just in the bright channel and you crank that amp up, man. Oh, that was the other thing. It was biased on the cold side. 25 mils or something. And actually, it would oscillate if you biased it hotter.
Oh.
Wow.
I mean, just because it was gainy and it just like it would oscillate if you biased it a little hotter. We left it at 25 though, because it sounded wicked. And when you cranked it up, it was almost like Van Halen style, like ripping distorted gain. He doesn't quite use it that way, but if you did use it that way, it does sound like that. I mean, it sounded wicked. It was really cool.
Does he have a bright cap on it? Or not?
This was a really long time ago. I worked on this amp.
I don't think it did, Dan, because I have seen that post, Dave, years ago. I remember finding it. You posted it's on the Metro forum somewhere, I think. Or maybe Rig Talk, one of those places.
Somewhere I posted.
Yeah. And I did remember it didn't
review my post to remember exactly.
Yeah, because it kind of almost doesn't sound like there's a bright cap.
I don't think there is.
No, it sounds like it's just turned up real loud, and it's just like, you know, it's got that roaring kind of tone to it. It's not, doesn't sound quite as like chirpy in the top end, like as it would if there was a bright cap. Maybe it's cool.
Do you have any idea who modded that, Dave?
I don't
know. Did he buy the amp? I wonder if he bought the amp like that.
The thing is I can't quite remember. trying to remember what the circuit board was like exactly, and I can't remember if the 2.7K was added, or I don't really remember. I mean, this is a really long time ago. We're talking
15 years ago.
maybe 18 years ago. So I'm just like,
They're probably on. It's probably
form.
just,
it's
it's
long.
probably just their last album then.
I don't think it was anything. It was nothing that was like that different from anything. You know what I mean? It was just
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
The fine minutia of it was not really like, it was a super league. You know, it was kind of it's not like Magic or something.
Yeah, exactly.
What was it,
Cool
late
about-
70s?
Yeah, it was square switches. So yeah, it was late, like 78-ish.
I love those things.
Four
I've
input.
got a few of them, and I don't know why. I always really like the square switch.
Yeah, they're great.
Oh
I don't know,
yeah, man.
there's something about it. I've had the best luck with them.
Well, those are better. I always say those are much better than the mid 70s amps,
Yeah.
which are always kind of a nightmare for me. Just like
those early
put the
PCB
circuit
ones.
board
Yeah.
wrong, it falls apart in your hands.
That's got it.
Yeah.
That one there on the bottom has got it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
74.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
74 super bass, and
Sound
it's
good, but
yeah, I mean, it sounds great. It's like full of mustards and dog bone, Lemcos, and all the good stuff, you know.
yeah,
So
good stuff.
I'm
but-
leaving it alone. It's cool.
Yeah, just don't touch it,
There
man.
you go.
Yeah,
Fall apart.
exactly.
Well, don't solder anything on the circuit board.
Yeah, shit.
no,
We haven't asked Dave or we haven't asked Dan what's behind him, because he's always got new amps behind him every show we
Oh yeah. I'm
What you
always
got,
switching
man?
it up. It's like a fashion statement at this point, right?
do. What are they?
That's the 74 at the bottom with this very funky cowboy Tolex. What's it, Western Tolex?
Oh,
I didn't,
yeah.
do it. I didn't do it. Yeah, it's a good one. It was a super bass. It's converted into a super lead, and then the
Cool.
top one is it was a 1980 JMP. I think that was I got a weird feeling that was a 4-input one. It's a killer Cali with like all the bells
Cool.
and whistles and everything in it, all the switches, and it's ridiculous. You know?
Oh, those are great amps.
Yeah,
And those
you
years,
just turn it on and just melt faces with it. So it's great.
Amazing.
78 through 80. I love those amps so much.
Yeah, all of those ones from the sort of mid to late 70s are just great. Well,
Yeah.
all the ones I've owned have been really good ones. I've yet to own a crappy sounding one. So I don't know, maybe I just got good luck. But I have had some weird ones on the bench though. And I'm wondering if you guys have come across any of the same things here. So I had one that was absolutely 110% bone stock, right? Nothing had been touched, I know for sure. And it had, instead of 100K plate resistors, it had 82Ks the whole way through.
Across the whole
Wow.
board, yeah.
Yeah,
I've never
Yeah,
seen that.
Well, welcome to We Ran Out.
yeah. It's a Friday night job, right?
Many times, and then the other one I saw a couple times was they ran out of 022 caps, so they put 0.1 caps across the entire board.
Oh shit. 0.1s.
0.1s, and then
Ooh.
I've also seen the B plus dropping resistors where they ran out of 10Ks or something. Oh, there's 12Ks in here.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I've seen that a few times too. And
Yeah,
I've seen
same.
in
Like,
the hand wired reissue, I saw they run out of 68K grid stoppers and used 100K.
interesting.
really, I didn't see wow in later amps. I mostly saw this in early
Wow.
stuff.
This is a reissue for sure.
I've also
Yeah.
seen things not soldered
Yeah.
from an original amp back in 19 whatever 70 something, and you see the wire is wrapped around like a pot or something, and it's wrapped around pretty good, but it's not soldered.
Yeah.
And you look at it and I go, wow, this has been like this in this amp since 1973 or something.
Yeah.
Still works.
It still works. Yeah, if it's like on pots and stuff, it's not so bad. Like one of the ones I did for Andy Sneap was a reissue model that I think Marshall sent straight from the factory, but it was a loaner, You know, they'd been loaning it out for years, I think, and you know, it was in good nick. But like when it came in, I opened it up, and the first thing I found was the 8 ohm tap on the impedance selector was just sitting in the lug,
Ooh.
but it wasn't even soldered.
Nice.
Ouch.
So yeah,
Ouch.
thank goodness it had been, you know, used on the 16 ohm probably most of its life, but still, that could have been expensive, you know. Bang, there goes a few hundred.
Yeah. Oh man. We've got a question here about Gary Holt's Langer modded Marshall clone. Do you know a tech who knows Todd Langer's stuff very well and can service it? I would say it depends on, well, where are you?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, where are you? I've worked on 1 or 2 over the years. I mean, there's a lot of things different though, like from one thing to the next. I mean, I've seen a few different ones that he's done, but it's kind of documented. I mean, there's some documentation of it.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
a
I
lot
know
of
that circuit stuff.
man.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, totally. That's that kind of circuit, not the exact same thing, but it's like that was definitely like an inspiration for the Rock Monster mod that I do. You know, the 5 gain stage thing. But I do it a bit differently in there, and there's some other things going on in the front end that make it, you know, they don't sound the same if you put them side by side at all. But you know, you can tell that it's definitely inspired by the Langner thing, though. You know, but Todd's thing is more, I don't know, squishier in the playing field for me. Like if you play the Langner thing, you know, exactly the way they, you know, the way he always did it. It's the gain kind of maxes out really quickly.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild.
Like you're on 9 or 10 o'clock and it's just like completely overloaded, and you get to 12 o'clock and it oscillates. So, you know, it's
Right, that's the problem too.
yeah, it's a little bit like the CAE stuff, you know, like the SE plus thing. You know, you get to like 10 o'clock and then you can't go beyond it because it just goes like woofy. Same kind of deal, but yeah, I know those circuits well, and yeah, I like them. It's great stuff. I can't imagine it's miles away, you know, circuit wise from the thing that is pretty well documented.
Yeah,
you know, it's.
I mean,
it's out there.
In terms of location, the 4 of us on this chat pretty much cover the globe. So
Yeah,
maybe
one of us can do it. Sure.
Maybe from the UK to the East Coast to the West Coast to down under.
Yeah,
someone
exactly.
here that might be able to help.
Yeah, exactly. If one of us has got any info with it, like we can share it and help out.
Yeah, exactly. All right, where are we next? Another super chat from Thomas. Thanks, brother. Recently converted my Lamar to MVC, Master Volume Control. Wow, thanks, Dave and Jason. And one of these months ago, I mistakenly tried a cross-line single 220K wrong. I wonder, Dave, is because as I said before, we have talked about, I think you came on the channel one time and talked in quite a bit of detail about your post-phase inverter master. So I wonder if that's what he's referencing here.
I think so.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not
Good.
It's like not a hard thing. It's simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
The crossline thing, that's like what used to be in the Lee Jansen heads, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's where it's like on the. It's just literally a pot across the 2 sides of the.
Yeah, across the phase inverter.
The same concept is happening kind of with the way I'm doing them, but doing it in a different way.
Yeah.
I need to mess around with that stuff more. I haven't really dug too deep into the post phase inverter stuff, because I do a lot of stuff with the negative feedback, and obviously it changes that.
Oh yeah,
so,
totally.
Yeah. So then, like, you know,
absolutely same.
You can get around it. You can do like the presence thing, like a high watt, where you do the cut control and stuff instead to make up for it. But it's like, but yeah, I think I'm kind of so into the like the Jose Master type thing as well. I've really got back into the Jose Master, the pre-tone stack one recently, and I'm just like, fuck,
Hard to
It's
beat.
so cool.
So fun
Yeah.
to play. It's just fun to play.
Man,
feels
it's just
great.
so much fun to play though.
It's
Like
fun.
it's
I
really
know.
yeah, it's so aggressive, you know. It really
Yeah.
is like kind of over the top, but it's fun.
I think as soon as you're adding gain out the front end, the whole idea of a post phase inverter master, you just forget about it.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
it's not. It's you don't need. that.
Yeah, it's got an application definitely for you know, it's got to be done like with the right kind of amp.
I actually see quite a few of the DIY guys do this. They end up because I don't know, maybe just because they're curious or they're tinkering, they end up building clone builds and so on, and they have a regular pre-phase inverter master and a post-phase inverter master. And I'm like,
Yeah,
just I don't know.
it's a weird one.
Overkill.
I remember seeing one amp years ago. I think it was the one that the guy who used to be on Rig Talk. I remember. I think it was Henning. I forget what it was called. Yeah, like he had like one
rod or plexi rod or something.
yeah, something like that. I remember it had a Jose master in it, and it had a post phase inverter thing. And I guess it's sort of a little bit like again, like the school of Lee Jackson, where he had the regular master and then he had a crossline master later on. It's sort of, I guess they're sort of using it a little bit like they would an attenuator, but it's not an attenuator,
Yeah.
is it? It's not doing the same thing. So
No.
yeah, I don't know. I'm more like all for just picking one, committing to it, and just go for
Agree,
that
man.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to really you know, sit on the fence too much with it. I'd rather just dive in head first, one or the other.
I think people end up with that kind of style of thing, right? They put a whole lot of gain out front,
Mm.
and then when you then overdrive the phase inverter as well, because you've got a post phase inverter master, the whole amp just turns to mush, I think.
Yeah,
It's
can
just so
do.
good.
Yeah.
Too much stuff in there.
Yeah. Quick question here. I think this is Trim Doctor. I don't know your actual name, man. I'm sorry, I forgot. But I know you've been emailing me. Shea, can I send you my SV20? I don't know what the Jason mod is. I'm assuming that you probably mean the mod that Shea and I did together, the Mark Uzansky mod.
Yeah.
Uzansky mod, man. Come on.
We're just
I can't-
naming mods after people now, you know.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't tell you how many requests I've had to do that. I mean, it's just so many. But no, I am real deep into production land this year. So I've got I think I've got one mod here. It's a JCM 800. And other than that, I don't think I'm going to be taking in very much for a while because I've got to build. I've got 23 amps coming up. I got to build. Yeah, I'm going to be a busy boy on the production side of things. So, but I do like to make some room for mods here and there because it keeps it fun, right? So, you know, usually I'll post about it if I'm taking stuff in, but not right now.
I could probably do it.
There you go. Boom.
Boom.
Dave can do it. There you go.
Send it to Dave, man. That is a great
Hell
idea. Well,
yeah,
you've
we
got the
used
mic,
those.
Dave.
We used those pots that you sent us on that.
Oh, yeah.
Dave.
Yeah.
The CTF pots. You still got
That's
those?
smart. Well, you showed that on.
I roughly know what it is, and you'll just tell me the rest.
Yeah. We'll tell you the rest. Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
really?
man.
Magic.
That is.
So what's the secret pots then? Fill me in.
Oh, it wasn't a secret pot. It was just a reverse audio taper pot.
Oh,
But
cool.
it was a old CTS pot from like the 80s, maybe. I think it was
Nice.
a. I've never seen a CTS
Guys at GNS
reverse.
sold us.
So, Dave,
What's
you
that?
got contacted by somebody, right? Who said, I've
Yeah,
got
I
these
get
old
contact.
pots.
I go, hey, we got all these pots. And it was a guy at GNL Guitars.
Oh,
They had all
nice.
these 1 meg reverse audio taper pots. Why? I don't know. But they had a shit ton of them. I have a whole bag sitting here that I've used like 2 of.
Those
We've got to
specific-
send you. We're going to send you some, Dan. So
Yeah, we should.
sure. Yeah, maybe I need to buy some off you.
what we did,
I
and
wouldn't
Shea
send
actually
you
showed it on the video. Because we did put a video together to show how we modded. Well, some of what we did for modding that amp for Mark.
Yeah,
We took a CTS, a switched pot,
yeah.
and opened it and changed the wafer and put the reverse audio wafer
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I was
So
going
then
to
you
say
can have you got reverse audio taper, but with a switch, so you can then change the diodes.
perfect.
Basically,
Yeah.
with a push pull. So
Yeah,
Those CTS pots too, very specific. Like the tone of those, because I've used
super
a lot of
aggressive.
alphas, they crack right open right away. And they sound a little different. Like maybe they sound a little bit more vintage. I don't know. It's hard to say, but
yeah.
unique for sure. They sound good.
It's been ages since I've been using CTS pots, probably more than 6-7 years, I think, because I used to use them for the push pulls and stuff like that, and then I started using the Boron's pots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the interesting thing though is I only ever seem to have failures with those when it's the small what are they I don't know what size the little small ones are. They're almost like a guitar potentiometer, you know.
Yeah,
I know
those
what you mean, man.
50
small
millimeter.
Yeah.
push pulls, the small.
Yeah, they're not they're not the skinny little ones like the push pulls are like sorry, yeah, they are. They're those ones, but the non-push pull ones, those ones I've had fail.
No,
But
the
the
non
push pulls I don't kill.
fine, but the push pull ones are a nightmare. We use them in the like JEL amps, and I
Yeah.
swear to God, I will never use it again.
Interesting. I've probably only had one out of a box of 250 of them fail. It's crazy.
We have
Maybe I got a really good batch.
you got a good batch or something, because what happens is the ground lug will loosen up the little rivet that's holding the ground lug on the will
Yeah.
loosen up a little bit, and then the pot won't work.
Oh,
You know,
like I've not ran into that with those, but with the non-push pull ones,
you got a
the
good
little
batch
small
then,
ones.
because originally I never had problems either, but
No.
ones we have at the factory, I swear to God, we change so many of those all the time.
Do you know where you order them from?
I don't know. I'm not exactly
Right.
sure.
No, I was going to say because I only ever ordered them in big boxes from Mauser.
Yeah, I think we got some from Mauser too, but we had
Yeah.
lots of problems with it. There's another
Yeah.
pot that's really cool that Tad sells from Germany, at least. That's a dual 1 meg pot, push pull.
I bought a big batch of them. Yeah.
Cool.
Those pots never fail.
Those
They
are really good ones.
really good.
Yeah, I love those ones.
And those are great for doing the Jose push pull master thing and stuff. I mean, yeah, you're not going to get the tapers exactly right, but
No.
it's whatever. I mean,
well, yeah, because if you don't go with those, the closest thing you can do is go with the 500k dual Bourne's one, you know, that's got the DP DT switch on it, and it works okay. You know, you can still use the 500k pot for the Jose. It just sounds slightly different, you know, but yeah, the 1 meg that they make at Tube Amp Doctor is a great one. But they're expensive though. They're like 12 euros a pot or 15 euros a pot.
What?
Yeah, they're really expensive. You know, so I bought like a big batch of them, and I only use them for doing the full blown Jose like dual master thing. Otherwise, I just don't use them for anything else.
Yeah.
do you get them wholesale from them?
Mm-mm. No, I was buying like probably I don't know like 10 or 20 at a time. It wasn't much because I wasn't needing them so often.
Because it's funny. I want to look. I mean, I have a wholesale account through them, and I think it's cheaper than that.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But of course, now I'm going to look.
Yeah. Have a look, man.
Not that I'm going to announce the price, but
Yeah. Dan, do you get tubes from there? TAD? Have you ever talked to anybody there?
I have done a few times, but again, they're kind of pricey. I usually try and stick to stuff within the UK. I bought there's one place that I buy like from that's called ampvalves.co.uk. I think they've been good.
Mm-hmm.
They always send you through like the test reports and things like that, you know, with the stuff
cool.
you buy. There used to be a place I used to buy everything from without fail. There was one guy called Carl with a K, Carl Tone, and he always had really good stuff and stuff never failed. It was really good, but as far as I can tell, he's been shut down for, you know, like a year or longer. So, you know, I've been buying from there
what did you say you paid for that pot?
Oh, I can't remember exactly how much it was. I think it was like, was it 10 euros or more? Yeah, it's 10.40.
No. Well, if you have a wholesale account with them, it's considerably cheaper.
Ah, interesting.
Not going to say the price on air.
No. Yeah, I
Yeah,
only bought like
considerably.
small numbers of them before because I wasn't doing the mods so often. I was doing like other mods, but yeah.
Dan, have you got a good local supplier for tube sockets?
Oh,
Belton particularly?
no, the Belton stuff I've been buying from Germany. I get some stuff from one German store. I think it's Tube Town. I get things like F&T filter caps because they're a bit more affordable from there. They're significantly cheaper than they are in the UK. F&Ts are like stupid money here now. Yeah, like I get things like
I'm going next, Dave.
Belton tube sockets and things like that from there, and they're actually pretty cheap. The Belton ones.
If you buy from Germany, is there like a bunch of import taxes that you have to pay, or
yeah, if I buy from anywhere that isn't the UK, we get import tax on the way in, so it's 20%.
Shoo.
We get 20% import tax on everything that comes in.
Is that just VAT, Dan? Is that just VAT, or is it
it's
something else?
Yeah, it's VAT, and then they also charge you. They charge you like at least another £10 or £15 just because they had to write you like a notification,
Processing fee or whatever.
Yeah, it's like really crafty, So
and there's no threshold on that. There's 20% right from the first pound. Like
in my experience, it's typically been on orders that are over about 120, 130 pounds. If it's lower than that, like I've had loads of stuff from places like StewMac and from some other sellers, and when it's been under 120, it's come straight through without import, VAT or anything like that. But yeah,
the VAT is the same. I mean, that tax is charged on anything, regardless of where it's made, right? It's a sales tax. It's like
exactly.
GST.
Yeah. Everything is, in the UK.
Whether it's made in Australia or not, you'll still pay the GST.
Exactly. That's the thing. So it's not so bad. I just, I work that into the pricing of any work that I do. It's all good. It's no big deal. But yeah, it's certain components and stuff is like, I've noticed like F&T's seem in low supply here in the UK. I'm trying to think of what else there was.
Because I've been looking for. I mean, I always kind of look to see whether, when it comes to shipping, anything that I can find that has free shipping or very low cost shipping, I'm in, right? I mean, that's places like Mauser are great because as soon as my order's $100 Australian, they ship for free.
Yeah, same. It's like that here for me.
Yeah, Tadar is another one based out of. Well, they ship out of Singapore. I know that much.
Are you talking tube sockets?
Yeah, so tube sockets, man. I'm looking for like given I'm kind of in the Asian region, and aren't they made in Korea? Are they Belton?
I'm not exactly sure, but we could probably sell you some.
All right, cool.
Because we buy thousands.
Yeah,
yeah.
So you'd be at the level where you could buy straight from the factory.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thousands. So
because I'm thinking like it makes no sense.
I can ask and see what the price is versus the shipping and all that.
Yeah, man, that would be awesome.
I think it'll probably be a better deal than whatever you're getting.
No, Brad. I was talking to Brad, our mate Brad up in Sydney, about this yesterday actually, because he needs a whole bunch, and he was like, "Gee, I wonder if we could bulk up and kind of buy direct." But you probably need thousands, not hundreds, right, to get a direct deal with the factory.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to ask, but
but
I can find out.
Yeah, there's usually like a minimum number, isn't there? Like I got onto Mauser a little while ago because I wanted the CTS screw bias pot. You know, the one when you put the little screwdriver in. And they were out of stock everywhere in the UK, and I contacted Mauser and was like, "Can you get this part?" And they were like, "I'll leave it with us. We'll get back to you with a quote." And they got back to me with a quote, and they're like, "Oh yeah, minimum part order was like 6,000 bias pots."
Oh,
and they work out like so dirt cheap. It's like 50 pence a pot, or something ridiculous low.
Yeah, at that point, it's like, I'm sorry, just open the amp up and go into the big bias pot.
Yeah. Exactly. No, there's other options. So I was just like, fuck it,
Yeah, I know.
Well, get a wholesale account through TAD at least, and then you can get some of that stuff
Yeah.
from Germany.
Yeah.
You should.
Too
Yeah,
bad.
you should, man.
Yeah.
It'll still be worth it. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Me and Jason have
Yes.
started getting tubes from them, and they've been amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're good.
Yeah,
So great.
see. We'll see how that
Well, we'll see. Is that what you said? So far, so good.
Dave, someone's asking about whether you're any closer to getting Warren.
Man, I wish. I mean, like, you know, he's a friend of mine, and it's just like he doesn't do really those interviews very much. So,
He's out playing at the moment. Yeah,
yeah, he's out playing, but
Hmm.
yeah, he's doing that right now. That's cool. It's a great band.
Yeah. I mean, I'm super interested. I've been trying to find some footage of it. But when was the last time he was out playing like that? It was a few years ago or what?
That would be before the pandemic.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
And what's the do you know what rig he's using? What's he playing?
Well, these are all fly-in dates. So he's using a quad Cortex into the effects returns of amps.
Very practical
he's
solution.
got a model of his modified Plexi in it. Like they did a capture. Actually, Pete Thorne and him did it together. Where they
Very
kept
cool.
his whole mic chain and everything.
I'm sure it sounds good. Pete was involved.
It sounds pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, he really didn't have a choice. You know, it's like either that or suffer with the amps that he got. You know what I mean? That can be terrible.
Yeah.
So
Did Jose modify that Plexi?
no, that Plexi
Frank
was
Levi or someone?
Levi.
Yeah, Levi.
It's like a 12 series Plexi with the laydown power transformer, all the caps inside,
Yeah.
the traditional filtering with the low screen stage, all that. But then the front end is a JCM 800.
Oh,
right.
Interesting.
But he doesn't really use the master. The master is at like 8 to 10
Yeah.
all the time. So, and then you figure you have the bright cap, so that the gain's pulled back to like 7. So you got that 1,000 picofarad bright cap, cutting the low end a little bit in there, and it sounds like a pretty blown up Plexi. It's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Pretty cool sounding.
Yeah. Let's be honest, a lot of that
The
sound.
other thing is that his hands, but the input stage. So the input grid resistor is at the input jack.
Yeah.
And then there's a piece of shielded wire going over to the first tube that's hot shielded.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So it's actually rolling quite a bit at top end.
Definitely.
Wow.
Is it quite a long? Is that shielded
mean, yeah,
cable
well,
longer than it?
Input grid resistor is at the jack, and then it's over. So
Yeah.
and depending on the capacitance of the cable, you have varying results with that.
Yeah.
But it does cut top end. But in that amp, we actually tried taking that out and just like grounding it and stuff, and he didn't like how it sounded then. So
No.
that was part of it, and so that's the way it is. I recapped it at some point because it was kind of a hot nightmare in there. So we
And it has a
cleaned
10K.
up a bit without changing it.
It's got a 10K second stage, Dave, like regular 800.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's an 800, but the only way you're cranking the master, though, so you're getting it. It's like, think of it as a Plexi, so to speak, with a 10K gain stage added in. Because you're not really using the master.
No.
So when you turn the master down, all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, there's the 800 part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like not almost like he's got like a non-master volume 800. Then I guess like if he's just like
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Where you can bring it down a little bit. It's kind of cool if you just bring the master down to like 8, a little bit less.
Yeah.
It's kind of a
still
teeter totter though, even with the EQ. Like, the bass kind of lower, and you got to play with it a little bit.
Yeah.
That's insanely loud, though.
Really cool sounds.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And low filtering, so
Yep.
it's got a gushy.
Oh
feel.
yeah. Yeah, low screen filtering's great. It's
Yeah.
got that really like gooey feel,
Right. And so picture that kind of cranked like that with the gooiness, extra
Yeah.
gain. Yeah, it's good.
It's addictive, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that. I agree with you.
We got Alex
What's up,
here, man.
Alex?
Hey, Alex, what's up?
How you doing,
Hey.
man? Haven't seen you for a little while. Okay, we've got a super chat here.
My beer is now no longer color coded to my glass. I have a new beer.
What have you got? Let's have a look, Dave. Oh, okay.
Okay.
What
this
is
one?
that?
What is that?
Hey, green label, Belgian.
Those Belgian ones have got a kick to them. Seriously.
They
Like,
can.
Oh yeah, I'll
10%ers.
start slurring my words shortly. So
They can, man.
I used to buy Belgian ones like often, like Le Trap,
oh yeah, sure.
quadruple.
Yep.
It's like,
Yep.
I don't know, it's like 10,
drink-
12%, some crazy
Yeah, and
shit.
you drink one bottle like this, and you're like, whoo-hoo-hoo.
Oh yeah, you're hammered. It's like doing a bottle of wine or something. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
ridiculous.
dude.
Most
Yeah.
monks are just like getting pissed all the time.
It's very true. Let's get to the super chat. Rummy, thanks, man. Guys, can you explain why Damasio Super Distortion sounds so good into a Marshall? How does it affect the EQ and signal? So, Shea, you're a Super Distortion friggin' guy, man.
Yeah, I just love that pickup. There's like a certain quality in the top end and the mids that I like, but
New ones or old ones?
the new ones. So I like the new ones better than the 80s ones because I've had both, like with the 2 wires versus the 4 wires.
Do the 80s ones sound more like
The new ones are more aggressive for sure.
and the older ones are a little more like
So
it's PAF-y thing?
it sounds the same, they just a little bit more tame, maybe.
Yeah.
But I like that pickup in a Les Paul.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
I've got a Fender Jazzmaster. I tried that pickup in a Jazzmaster, and it was just like it just wasn't there. But that pickup in a Les Paul is just magical, man.
Yeah.
So
We've got one in a box sitting here. Look at the color on that.
there you go.
Ooh.
What's it going in?
I've got no idea. I've got too many pickups and not enough guitars. Like so.
Oh,
No,
you
you
got
know what it is. Yeah,
guitars.
I've got enough guitars, but the only thing is, I'm
I should
kind
just
of
send you
already.
some of the extra guitars I have.
Yeah, I'm already committed to certain pickups in other guitars, so I don't want to kind of pull them out. Like, but it will go in something, probably a Super Strat.
Super Strat, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? When it comes to the Demasios, though, I really like the Evo.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have Evolution.
Yeah.
What are the
It's just-
specs on that?
Right.
It's like 13.5K, but it's got a really like double thick ceramic magnet. I guess it's probably it's like they do the usual thing down there, Damasio, where they mix the wire gauges when they wind the coils. So it's probably got one that's 44 gauge and one that's 43 gauge. So it's that kind of thing. But man, it's if you imagine the sound of Super Distortion, the Evo is like if you kind of sculpted the bottom end, made it percussive, and then made it more aggressive and angry on the top. There's a bunch of clips that are on my Instagram where I was playing like a Black Charvel for years that had that combo in it, and it was just great. Never sold the pickup. I just took it out after a while because I wanted to try different things. But it's a great, really, really great sounding pickup. But it really, if you're not careful though, it'll expose everything. Like if you're having a bad day, you just sound like you lost 10 years of playing experience. It's like it really exposes you if you're not careful.
Dan, have you ever tried the Seymour Duncan parallel axis pickup?
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
that pickup too. So those
Yeah,
are my
it's a
2
great
favorite
one.
pickups.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is
a cool
about that one.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what other pickup actually kind of responds a little bit similar to the parallel axis.
Tell me.
Have you ever
I'm
played
ready to
the bare knuckle Holy Diver?
I've never played a bare knuckle. I've
Right,
never
well-
owned any bare knuckle pickups.
So the bare knuckle stuff is more It's clearer, it's more dynamic. You can roll off on the guitar and you don't lose as much as well. You know, it's really, they almost feel like they're not potted.
Mm.
If you ever play an unpotted pickup and it's
Oh, yeah.
really wild and it's really over the top and you have to kind of really ride the pot, the bare knuckles feel like that because of how open they are, but it's not out of control. Like it doesn't feed back or anything like that. But the Holy Diver has got a kind of similar EQ curve to that parallel axis. You get all the mid push and everything, but it isn't like a JB where it's really overly honky.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a bit more refined. It's a bit more, you know. Yeah, it's just
I want to try some new pickups for sure.
Yeah,
Hey,
get a Holy Diver. Yeah. Holy Dive is brilliant. I've got it in like three guitars.
Another one is that Seymour Duncan Nazgul. Now,
I didn't try it.
You're all into these hot ass humbuckers.
The Nazgul sounds like a super distortion.
I'm
to
like
me.
all like the opposite way.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I
like the PAFs, right?
I like or slightly
I like
hotter.
those too.
You know, it's like I just
What's your favorite?
fuck, I don't know. You know,
Or what do you use the most?
Hmm?
Which one do you use the most?
Man, we have some that we wind, but I mean they're in some of the guitars. But I have a guitar that has the VH2 from Bare Knuckles in it. That's pretty cool. I have funny recently I tossed in an old just a real simple Duncan 59 in a guitar, and I'm like, man, that sounds great.
I think that's the best PAF I've ever played.
I mean, I think a Duncan 59, surprisingly, it's the most oldest and simplest fucking thing, but
yeah,
it's good.
Put it in a
good.
guitar, it can sound awesome.
Do you ever try the Pearly Gates?
Yeah, the Pearly Gates is cool too. I have
Pearly
one
Gates,
of those.
yeah, Pearly Gates is really cool if you're doing the Van Halen thing. I don't know why it works really good for it. And
change the pickup in this fucking guitar, aren't you?
yeah,
You are. Yeah,
Pearly Gates is
a
cool.
whole box full of pickups, right? So and then I have like I have some Fralin pickups that I love. I have Motor City pickups, the second degree black belt. That's an amazing pickup. Really percussive, but that's almost like a meaner PAF.
Nice.
Not necessarily in the heat, but it just seems more rock.
Yeah, more angry.
Really percussive in the low end and stuff, and that's a great one. Yeah, years ago I used the JB, like 10 million years ago as a kid. I used the JB.
I still like the JB for certain things.
I have one old one here that is from the 80s that is cool, but it needs repotting. I have to go up to Seymour Duncan and have MJ repot it for me.
Yeah,
she said she would do that. So
gotta be her
from
the 80s, right?
Yeah, she's like
she's
legend.
It's good to have you got to have a guitar with a JB in it. It's like it's kind of a standard.
I just got to find the time to drive up to Santa Barbara to do it.
Yeah.
I got to go with someone. I talked to Pete Thorne about it. I go, let's go together.
Yeah.
That'd be
I'll
fun.
visit Duncan for the day and go drinking.
Oh man, that'd be fun.
Do the trip.
Jason, what do you use, mate?
Yeah, man, I'm probably more with Dave on this one. I do prefer
You're all over the place, right?
I prefer lower output pickups.
Yeah. Your PRS. No, wait, not PRS.
No, the Nags.
The Nags with the Saturday Night Special pickups.
Saturday Night Specials. That guitar sounds amazing.
That guitar sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, what are they like? Are they similar to anything?
They're PAF-ish for sure.
PAF-ish. They're like just hottish. So they're like, I think they're like a 10 or 11K, somewhere around there.
So they go up a wire. They go to slightly thinner wire gauge then probably to make them to get that. They
just have enough like
it's probably like 43 gauge.
But they still sound open. They're not super compressed, and they're not too pokey in the mids either. I've got that guitar just sounds amazing. A friend of mine actually here, Gary, who winds pickups just for a hobby, he wound me a set to put on a Les Paul, and he just took the specs off the website, and they're pretty close, man. I actually put them in a couple of weeks ago on this other Les Paul, and they sound pretty darn close to that Nags. But I've got in that white Charvel, which you can kind of just see there, I took the JB out of that, and that's got a set of bare knuckle VH2s,
Nice.
which just sound awesome. Yeah, just great.
Still never tried them. I've got to try those at some point.
It's super versatile. Like, I mean, JB's kind of fine. All those super hot pickups are fine, but I find you can only kind of do one thing with it, you know?
Yeah.
I think this Steve Stevens
totally.
knuckles is amazing.
Yeah, I want to try those.
I've got an interesting set in this guitar, right? That are they're like the newest one I think bare knuckle make. It's called the Polypath.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and they're a path that is totally for the guy perhaps who wouldn't normally play a path, like the guys who play the mid output pickups and slightly hot pickups, but they want to get the PAF sound. If you take a hot pickup player and you give them a PAF, they're totally thrown off, you know, because it's like really twangy, really glassy. These are like a really muscular sounding PAF, but they're not like really overwound. They're like 7 or 8K.
Right.
They're only like partially potted as well. But I don't know what Tim has done with the recipe with these, but they're just like just a big vocal sounding path. They're not mushy, they're not twangy. It's just like the right kind of balance of, I don't know, just the PAF thing really. Because I'm not really a PAF player typically, but these I can pick this up and just love it.
The other pickup combo that I put, because I got an old it's 1981 gold top, so that's with the 3-piece maple neck.
Oh, great!
That era of Les Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, it came with unpotted. When I got it, it had unpotted pickups in it. The Seth Lovers. And yeah, cool, man. But freaking squeal, you know, like it's kind of like, you know, because I was gigging and I was playing that guitar live, and it was just kind of man. Anyway, I put a set of Thornbuckers in that, which in the Les Paul are amazing, actually. Like that, those pickups just because they're the PAF style kind of thing, right? But in the Les Paul, they sound amazing. Yeah, so it's another good combo if you want a lower output thing.
Yeah,
definitely.
Did you ever find your Aldrich pickup?
No, man.
Damn.
I fucking don't know.
Yeah, you know, it's the I think the pickup thing for me always came from the Eddie Van Halen school. You know, it was sort of, and the tone of that was where my head lived. Growing up, I like the stringiness. I like the twang of it. I like that.
Totally, man.
That rawness.
Yeah.
I like it, but I can appreciate a hotter pickup also. But I don't know.
Comes down to the sound in your head, doesn't it? Like your kind of like default reference tone that you hear in your own head.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like for you with the Eddie thing as your tonal reference in your head, you know that's kind of what you're looking
100%,
for.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like for me, it was kind of the John Sykes thing. So that probably explains why I like a medium hot pickup.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a beefier kind of mid-range thing. It's not so much of the chirpy PAF thing, but
Wade at Motor City Pickups actually rewound Sykes' Dirty Fingers pickup because it was shorted.
I think I remember seeing him post a pickup of that one, and it was like scalloped from where he
rewound it.
Yeah,
for him, and John loved it when he was done. So
that's really cool. I've got one of those original Dirty Fingers in that black Les Paul there, and
you know what? I don't think I've ever owned one, and I kind of always wanted to.
You know what? I didn't know what it would sound like, and it's a thick sound. It is. It's not bright or brittle or twangy or anything. Because the thing is, the pickup is even though it's ceramic, it's 3 ceramic magnets in there. You know, 3 bars, but then you've got 2 rows of the screw heads, which are obviously a bit rounder sounding anyway. But then they wrap the whole humbucker up in copper tape and ground it on the base plate. So you know what, it's like putting a massive cap, you know, like around it in terms of like, you know, pickup construction. So it's like rolling off top end. So it is kind of it's a bit of a darker sound. And if you listen to any of the isolated guitar tracks of like 1987 Whitesnake, you can hear that the guitar is not crazy bright. It's a more of a big growly mid-range thing, but it doesn't really extend massively up top.
Huh.
It's definitely a warmer sound. Many other high output
is.
pickups I've got way more top end on tap.
Yeah.
right.
That pickup drives me crazy. I had a guitar with I had like a Gibson RD reissue that was like in Silverburst, and it came with Dirty Fingers in it, and it just drove me crazy.
Is
Like
it
the
those?
sound of
Those
that.
were newer ones, though, right?
Yeah, it's a newer
Right.
one.
The newer ones are not quite the same as the old ones.
They don't sound the same, do they?
No, I've had both of them, and the new ones don't sound the same.
Yeah,
I
that
don't know
pickup
what
drove
it
me
is.
crazy.
It could be the magnet grade, or it could be just anything. It could be the wire they wrap. They wind the coil with. It's
I
who
ended up
knows?
changing the cap. I ended up changing the cap in that guitar and like found the right value, and then
Yeah.
it sounded really good. But that was it.
There you go.
Yeah, right pickup for the right guitar.
I think you're right though, Dan. What you said, like back to this question here, right? The reason why Rummy thinks that sounds so good is because that's the sound that's in his head.
Yeah.
I would guess, right, that your favorite tones, whoever it is, was probably using that pickup into a Marshall. So
Yeah, 100%.
This comment here. So this was the question about the Todd Langner modded Marshall. So he's asking for a friend that's in the States. So Dave or Shea, you got each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm not really available right now.
Don't play hard, man. Come on.
David's coming. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of texts.
I mean, I have limited availability. Okay, let's not. Like,
I think we're all a bit like that.
you know how many? Do you see all the boxes? There's boxes.
Yeah.
At least
you're building a fortress there,
projects,
Dave.
these projects that should have been done a long time ago.
At least you're saying yes, though.
It's all down to how long you're prepared to wait. This is a thing, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's
I
true.
really don't want to make people wait an excessive amount of time, but there are projects here, unfortunately, that have been here longer than anticipated.
Well, you forget, you lose track of what it is that you're meant to do unless you take good notes.
Well, yeah, or you put it on a shelf where you're not looking at it all the time, and then you're also
it happens.
Oh, fuck, that's been here forever. Shit.
Yeah.
We're all guilty of it. It happens, life gets in the way sometimes, and then
So yeah, I might need to wait a little bit before I take it in, but I'm trying to get some of the backlog done. But then my helper that I have helping me, he's been on tour on and off, so I'm like, going on tour again. Shit.
Yeah.
Bummer, man.
Trying to get some of this backlog done.
Yeah.
Stephen is asking, what's the best way to use deoxit on a scratchy front panel pot?
Well, let you guys answer this. I'll be back.
Take the spray it in the pot, and then go back and forth on the, up and down in the volume pot till it's better.
Does
it's that simple.
It's not the present spot, is it?
No, not on an Astro.
On an Astro.
Really? On an Astro already? It's scratchy? That seems weird.
Dave, what's your favorite?
I'm not exactly sure what pot is on an Astro. So hold on a minute. Those might be sealed, actually.
Yeah, there'll be sealed alphas or something.
I think that they're like a sealed little pot on a PC board. So in that case, you can't spray it out. Really, the Astro, which pot? Shouldn't be really scratchy. You might want to just try exercising it back and forth a bunch of times and seeing if it just gets better.
I always like that red gel for cleaning pots.
The red gel.
Yeah.
What's that?
Deoxit. It's deoxit red gel. I mean, I think that red gel, whatever it is, it's literally. I had like the spray. I didn't have great results with that, and I started using that red gel, and it's just like everything fixed.
I think, believe it or not, that the WD-40 contact cleaner that's available,
Yeah,
WD-40 brand, Works incredibly well for cleaning pots. The thing that I would do though is clean all the pots with it really well, and then go back using deoxit fader cleaner with just a little drop in each one, just so it has a little lubrication in there.
That's pretty much what the red gel is too that I'm talking about. It's
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
But I've had really good luck with that WD-40 stuff. So
Oh, is that
Never tried it.
the fast drying electronics cleaner? they make?
contact cleaner, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great one. I've used it on loads of stuff.
It's cheap,
Yeah.
and it cleans the pots and things really well. Better than some other ones that I've tried that are way more.
I'm going to try that. Yeah, I'm going to get
Yeah,
some.
you know what?
And-
It cleans them almost too good.
Well, it cleans
you do
really
these.
well, and then I go back
Not
and
a bad problem.
the fader cleaner, deoxit, for a little lubrication, and then
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
man,
exactly.
because we've had issues with the alpha pots doing weird shit, and that cleaner specifically is the one that really works particularly well fixing
Yeah.
that issue.
Yeah, it's a really good cleaner, and yeah, you can
But,
buy it
like,
like cheap on
It's like
Amazon and stuff.
$8 a can here in the U.S.
I mean,
Yeah.
how much does deoxit cost in the USA?
Oh, way fucking more than that. I'd rather, there's no lubrication in this. It's a zero residue cleaner, but I would. Oh God, it's like deoxit's like $30 a can.
Yeah, I was gonna
A
say
little
the last.
It's this big,
Yeah, little can.
Yeah,
Little can.
And
the
Yeah.
last thing I bought of deoxit was like what? It's I don't know how big this is. It's right. It's like
Yeah,
what,
that's-
5 ounce.
Yeah, 5 ounce, right?
This
You
cost
said-
me
yeah.
like this cost me like £30.
Yeah, and
What?
yeah, same
Yeah,
price.
£30 for that.
Yeah.
That's how
Holy
much it
shit,
costs. It's
man.
crazy money. Yeah,
You can go back. You can spray it with a WD-40. You can go back and just hit a little drop of that stuff in it.
yeah,
After it gives it a little lubrication, and then it's fine.
yeah. You know what? For pots and stuff, I really don't think you don't always need deoxit. Deoxit I would use on stuff like if you've got a vintage amp and you've got like contacts that are actually corroded. Deoxit will break the corrosion up. It will physically come off if you like go at it afterwards with a brush, or even if you just turn a switch back and forth. Like I've had switches that were so seized up they wouldn't move, and deoxit was the only thing that got them loose. But for everything else, like deoxit's really kind of overkill.
Yeah.
You can just use if you like in the UK we have RS. As one of the main suppliers. And you can get like, I think RS even maybe have their own brand, RS Pro or something like that. And they do all these different contact cleaners and they're all totally good enough. Like as long as they're safe on whatever the wafer inside is, then you're good.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I just buy that WD-40 now. It's been great. And I have fader cleaner, which is the deoxit fader cleaner, the green one.
Is that the one that comes in like the little applicator?
No, you can get in a spray just like that deoxit, but it's fader. It's green.
Oh, cool.
And I just use that for a drop after I do it.
Yeah, because this one, I like. It doesn't matter how soft I press the can; it just blazes out of the thing. No wonder they, they're making millions out of this stuff.
Every time you press it down, it's a quid.
Yeah, like
exactly.
If you hold it down, you can see your bank balance going down. You can
see your bank account drain every time you press it. Like, oh no.
Yeah. 3 squirts of this, and you didn't make any profit on the fucking job that you just did.
That's funny.
Oh
That's
man,
funny.
that sucks.
Don't get me wrong. Like it's at the end of the day, it's whatever gets the job done well. If you need deoxit for a certain job, then great. But otherwise, there's probably other things that also work good.
This is right. So Alex is saying, CE distribution have the CTS push pull and 1 meg only. They do have a solid metal shaft, man. That's what we were saying before. Those are the
That's the one we used, right?
Yeah, you can open them up and replace the wafer. If you get another CTS pot, you can get like a CTS linear.
I used to have to do that years ago when I was first starting out with mods. I was using them for all like the switchable bright caps and stuff like that in mods. But I think at the time, like I had like a job lot of like 250k audios, and I just swapped them all out for like swap out the wafer for the 1 megs, and it was all good.
Cool.
But they're great though. I mean, CTSs are built like tanks. Those they're great. I mean, they're
It's
good
cool you can
pots.
replace them because so Shea, you know we were talking before about using that reverse audio taper from the pots
Mhm.
that Dave got, and they are, as you say, you just crack them and like
Oh,
they're
yeah.
so aggressive. I did a couple of mods where I just used a linear. I got a CTS linear
Mm-hmm.
taper and
How
did
was
the same swap. Great, you know.
Was this
Nice.
for this is for the pre-tone stack master? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I've not actually. I'm trying to remember now. Did I try the linear? I know I've done plenty that had reverse audio. But yeah, probably linear works good in that circuit.
It depends
anyway.
on
Yeah,
it
works
depends on
good.
how
I mean, how loud
when you
does
set your Xena voltage, you know, like how low you go.
Yeah, exactly.
also how loud does someone want to play too?
Yeah,
You know, it's like
loud.
the majority of people are playing at their bedroom.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
So at that point, you can use an audio taper. It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
My ones have got
fine.
audio
You have
taper.
to know that you know it's up higher.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's all the volume's all still there, right? It's just like how you
It's just like where on
how you
the,
want
Just,
to. Yeah.
it all comes on at like 3 o'clock, and then it's like bang, you know, like really
Yeah.
right out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
it's great though.
It doesn't seem very
I love
loud.
it.
Turn it up more.
Oh yeah.
I always look at it like it's a quarter turn off. You know what I mean? Like so.
Yeah.
So your audio taper is going to be at like 3 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
And then your
When it comes on.
not 3 o'clock. I'm sorry. Yeah. So like
3
a
p.m.
volume is going to be like 3 o'clock, and then like a linear taper is going to be more like 12 o'clock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The reverse audio taper is going to be more like
9
Right away.
a.m.
it's about a quarter of a turn
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
On all
That's a
the,
good rule of thumb. That.
Yeah, and the thing is though, the tapers are all a little bit weird depending on what company you go with. If you look at their graphs, they're like, for example, Bourne's have
They are
got
different.
they've got 2 audio tapers that you can choose from. And one of them is way quicker, and one of them is, you know, more your gradual kind of, you know, slow curve and everything. But yeah, and then CTSs I always found were quite quick.
CTS were quite quick, and then also had the dead spot in the first from like 1 to 2.
Yeah,
It's like dead, and then comes on.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, it doesn't do much, and then bang, it's like, you know.
It's funny.
quite-
There's a company that we're gonna start using that has cloned the CTS.
Yeah.
From Asia. Of course, CTS aren't made here either. But it's better made than the CTS.
Yeah.
It's like a nice brass shaft and brass everything, but it feels better even if you turn it. It feels weightier when you hold it, and everything about it is a better quality pot. And and they're going to put like boutique amps distribution on the pot, so it's really
Cool.
Nice.
That'd be cool.
yeah, they're cool.
I
I had
wish
to
someone-
other than the
yeah.
alphas because I was having so much issues with the alphas that we get. So
Yeah.
I didn't, and there's not really any choices. There's just nothing there. You know, it's like, yes, you have Bourne's, but Bourne has its own problems with getting certain quantities and this and that, and so I'm like, found this company. It's the same company that makes the Plexes and the Plex pots that we use.
Mhm.
Yep.
They're great. I was referred to it by John Cusack from Cusack Pedals. He said, these pots are great. This company, I've never had issues. They're great. Use these.
So Dave, those they kind of look like the sealed alphas, but they're not.
Yeah, they're exactly like the sealed alphas.
Yeah.
They're
but-
blue, not green. Is that
they're-
the ones?
Well, no, they're not necessarily blue. They could be green.
Okay.
But literally all the we have like 1,000 Plexes out there and never had an issue with the pots.
Wow.
Not one.
That's a decent number.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of pots.
It's quite a lot of amps.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of amps. Yeah.
That's a lot of amps.
The
Well,
Jose,
that'll be the next Club Secret run, Shea. We'll do 1,000.
Jose waiting list is at 1,000.
Oh, dude,
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Very
wicked,
cool.
man. That's amazing.
Congrats, man. That's great.
Now, I don't think 1,000 people are actually going to buy it, but
Yeah, but
Yeah.
hey, even if half or 3/4 buy it, that's great.
yeah, I mean, you'll get a good conversion rate of
Correct.
that.
That's not Europe.
Yeah. Who remembers Steve Hennings? So, Dave, you would have known Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what he's
That's
up
what
to?
we were
these
talking
days?
about before.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't that amp
You
though, I
laid
don't
your
think.
amp out, don't you?
The Cherry Bomb. That's a pre-tone sack.
Yeah, but you
Jose,
know who laid it out?
What's
Who
that?
laid
Dave?
it out?
You know who laid it out?
Ah, I know. Don't tell me. Tracy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
So
you could-
I remember now, man. I've forgotten about that. He told me
That's
about that
beautiful, yeah.
when you took me out and we had lunch with Tracy, and he told me that he did the work for Steve, on the PCB.
Tracy, unfortunately, is probably retiring for the most part.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Well,
I know a guy if you need one.
Who?
I don't want too many people to know.
Yeah.
depending on the monetary workload that he's dealing with at the time.
Mm.
I must say, though, Jason, so we're working also on some new stuff with Santiago.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
cool.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I must say, you charge a lot of money for this shit.
All right. That's good to
Good for-
know.
Good for him.
You just say you can charge quite a bit of money for this stuff.
Yeah.
Might be worth your while. I'm just saying.
Yeah, man. Look. I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, I will. I'll take your advice on that.
Fill in the hole. Fill in the
well,
holes of amplifier production.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's probably. I mean, how many people are doing printed circuit board layout for tube amps? Probably not that many now. I don't know.
Less than, I don't know, handful.
Yeah.
I should really teach myself, but I don't seem to have enough free time to do that.
Oh god, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do what Jason does. Like when we were going through this design process, I'm just like, I'm so glad you exist because I
love editing it. I like it in front of me and then go, can you move? How about you move these parts over here a little bit and do that here and move that there? And I think you'll make a space and it'll be perfect. I love that.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting process, right? Like the whole thing we all know from, working on amplifiers and modding stuff and all the rest of it, that the layout, how you go about placing those components, like, if you drill a new tube socket into a Marshall and you've got different options for how you lay out the plate resistor, the cathode, the bypass cap, et cetera, do you put it on the socket? Are you going to put it on a little board? There's all kinds of things that you can do. Well, when you do PCB design, you make all those choices. You've got to layout. Circuit's one thing, but the layout is so critical. And once you get those boards made, because you have to minimum order quantity is 5.
Mm-hmm.
You get your first prototype. Yeah, I mean that's relatively inexpensive. It's a great way to do it.
It's really,
but it's set. You can't change it. You inevitably do, right? You end up in the first few iterations of an amp. You end up with this kind of Frankenstein thing with
Dremel out.
You got this nice tidy bit of the amp where everything's laid out beautifully on a circuit board, and the rest of it is components flying around the air. And
the funny thing is, the longer you do it and the more you do, like I found this even working with Tracy and stuff, the more you've already fixed all your problems. You already know, you're already looking at it going, well, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And like I'm overly cautious about some things, and like I'm like going, you gotta, we're gonna move. Yeah, better move this part over to here. Better get that phase inverter input far away from that cathode follower, as far as you can get it away.
Yeah.
Because guess what? It's gonna bleed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jason was the first. I mean, the Skeleton Key was the first production amp that he designed the layout for. years ago, and we've learned a lot together, working together, just like layout and noise and all this stuff. And it's like, but like, it's I don't know. I mean, I think that Jason's the best. I don't know Tracy. I know your amps are good, but man, like the stuff that we've done recently, it just blows me away. The stuff that where it's at right now, Jason has gotten really good at it. So.
Tracy has a deep knowledge, a lot of years, more years than anyone, you know.
He worked in like the aerocraft industry or something like that.
Yeah. He has some deep. Yeah, there's a lot of knowledge there to be had.
Yeah,
Tracy's stuff is awesome, and he has like a it has a signature look. I can look at one of his layouts and I know he did it.
Yeah.
I can just tell. Like it's even down to the footprints he uses.
Yeah,
because you build it with PCB designers, you build up your own library of component footprints.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can kind of find. Like Mouse is pretty good now. I remember when I first started on the stuff, a lot of the components didn't have. You can actually download a PCB footprint.
Mm-hmm.
You go into Mouser and you open up a component, it'll have you like download ECAD model.
Well, here's an interesting thing. So in recent years, meaning in the last 5 years or something, so there's a PCB stuffing company that we use, or a couple different ones that we use that stuff the PCBs here, in the US. And they were like, if you did these certain things, it would make it much easier and cheaper for us to do this.
Ah, interesting.
And little things. So Tracy, I remember, went down and actually met with them on it and found out all the little things that they wanted to see. And then incorporated that in future boards and stuff.
This would be things like the length of the footprint, so that
the length of the footprint of like your 1 watt resistor, your length of the bends and everything, and how it goes, and all that, and the size hole that the solder hole, and everything as far as a manufacturer goes, as a stuffer goes, what they wanted to see.
Yeah.
So he's got some good knowledge on that information, because when it's the one thing if you're soldering boards by hand, but it's another thing if you're wave soldering some of the stuff and different things like that. So they want to see it a certain way.
Yeah.
I think the layout too, just to add in, I think that it's got to contribute to the overall sound of the amplifier too,
Sure it does.
Absolutely it does.
I mean,
PC board actually gets everything much closer to the actual tube sockets than you could actually do in any hand wired amp. So there's actually less capacitance, generally speaking.
And you're doing away with a lot of like things like long shielded wire runs and stuff like that where possible, aren't you? Which is great, because every time you put a shielded wire in, depending on the capacitance between the,
yeah, for sure,
the braided shield and the conductors.
Wire are you using? Oh my god.
Yeah. All makes a difference, doesn't it? It's.
I love how every amp sounds the same too. You just turn it on and it's like consistency.
There's real nice consistency.
Way
consistent. I love that.
I like that.
It's way more consistent
and way less mistakes.
Yeah.
Way less mistakes.
Yeah.
You even start getting, once you start doing that and going down the path, then you're like, can't we use some JST connectors between these boards? That just plug in. Because then they won't make the mistake on soldering those couple wires they have to solder. Oh my god. It's
like, you do look at build efficiency, especially when you got the job of having to build these things yourself.
Yeah, it's like
the efficiency thing becomes important. Definitely. All right, I'm looking for my next question here. So someone's saying, thanks for the firmware update, Dave. So you leaked that on the last time we were on a live stream. You said, bugger it, I'm going to leak it. And you talked about the new firmware that was coming for the IRX. With the gate,
people, let me
gate.
preface this. Download the new software first, please. Unfortunately, do not open your hardware on old software, because it'll auto update the firmware, but then you won't have controls for the gate that we put in, and it will be all the way on. So everyone's like emailing me like, hey, it was a mistake. We should have actually checked it on the old firmware and fixed it so it wouldn't do that. But hey, I updated your new firmware, and now it's cutting the signal out when I'm like playing, unless I play really hard. I'm like, please download the new software. Plug the unit in again to the new software, and all will be well.
So they're updating the firmware, but keeping this still the old.
Well, if you open the IRX or whatever on the old software that's just sitting on your computer, it will update the firmware, but then it has no controls for the gate, so the gate goes 100%.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
which is like chopped off, unless you're on super high gain. The gate works incredibly well, though.
Cool.
It's like really cool. It's like dead silent.
Awesome.
Sweet.
I'm assuming that the gate is keyed off the guitar input before
it's actually not.
Oh, really? Wow.
No, because it wasn't designed to do that originally. But because there's no, it's keyed off of essentially the send. Well, no, let me rephrase that. It comes before actually the master. The level's constant, so it's
okay.
It actually works incredibly well, like as far as not having any artifacts, like even if you're rolling off your guitar volume or anything, as long as you don't have it set to some extreme setting, You just have 3 different amounts, essentially, of the gate. So depending on your gain level, you'll choose which amount you want, off or 3 different levels. Works shockingly well.
Sweet.
Well, you might see.
Well, I'm going to. So that guy that you emailed me, so there's an IRX.
Yeah.
The guy's dropping it off tomorrow, Dave. So
I think it's just a dead tube.
Sounds like it to me.
Because he said it sort of works, and like
So there's a guy that contacted Dave in Australia that Dave's now sent. He's going to bring the pedal around to me. So it sounds like
played with one, have you?
No.
So just download the software from our website and just put it on your computer, and plug his pedal in and update it anyway.
Okay.
And then just tell him, make sure you download the new software, because
otherwise.
And I think his problem is just a dead JJ preamp tube, but he didn't sound like he wanted to take it apart himself and put a preamp tube in. So
no, it was. I thought
he was like, "Oh God, no."
Yeah,
that's okay.
Well, I'm sure Jason will take care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That's going to be a real rough repair. You got to take four whole screws out.
This stuff is expensive, man. Come on. I did laugh to myself when I saw the email trail. So Dave copied me on this email trail with a guy, and it's like, hey, my IRX is not working. Can you send me a schematic?
Well, first of all, I mean, it's potentially possible it's something else, and in that case, you probably don't even want to work on it.
Yeah.
But we'll come to that once we've determined that it's not a preamp tube.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got JJ preamp tubes, so those are known to just
they just die
up and crap out for no reason.
Yeah, they usually just go if they go. They don't like slowly go. They just
of them go.
Yeah.
It's like one half of it doesn't work.
Yeah.
and just like and for no rhyme or reason, you just turn it on one day, it's dead.
Yeah, I had that with all the what are they called? Sovtech 1287 LPS.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's those
Oh
too.
man,
Oh yeah, man.
yeah. Stick those in a cathode follower, it's just like lights out.
I found with the JJs, they either fail real quick or they'll last a long time.
And
Yeah,
then
exactly. It's all or nothing with JJs.
Yeah. Like the first 20 minutes gone, or they'll last for years. Whatever.
I hope it's on something else, but if it is something else, we'll deal with it then.
It'll be fine. Well, but there's good tip about the firmware.
But then you get to play with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
it'd be
I'll-
Yeah.
You have some fun with it, I'm sure.
That's the more fun. If you get it working, you just plug just TRS out to XLR in on your computer, just like into the mic pre or whatever, and just go for it.
yeah, man. I'm definitely going to
There's the
play with it.
software, and you can have fun with it.
Um,
It sounds wicked.
I'll be like, no, I haven't fixed it yet, man. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
next week it'll be ready next week.
I'm gonna send you a new one.
What have we got here? There's a question.
Oh, Pyro has a question in the super chat.
Oh, where's that one?
Son O Pyro.
Where's that at?
Where are we looking?
Did I miss that super chat?
That's that one.
Oh yeah, you missed it.
Sorry,
Nice
man.
call, Dave. Nice call, Dave.
Nice call. Yeah, Dave, you're obviously experienced.
He's got an orange Plex.
He does.
That's it looks
Very
sweet.
nice.
And a twin sister.
By the way, for anyone out there, I do have a purple Plex and an orange Plex just sitting, waiting for a good home.
Ooh.
That's
So
that's
just contact
number
me if you're interested in one of those two amps.
that's number 1001 and 1002.
I don't actually know. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's really the right number, but
Well, Matt, I'm sure it's bloody close
it's
to that.
post-
Or
it's post
Can't be
maybe
far
more.
off.
it's post 600, so I mean it's after 600 for sure.
yeah, it's super cool. Okay, so Son of Pyro's question is: picked up a 78 1960A with 75 blackbacks. Want to try mixing with two V30s or 65s? Any recommendations for appropriate internal speaker wire, gauges, etc.?
The first question I have for you, if they're all blackbacks like that, it's a 1978 cab. Why are you bothering mixing them?
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think
Leave them alone.
killer
I
cab.
probably wouldn't change him.
As a vintage cab, leave it alone.
If what you're saying it says blacks, I'm assuming that's blackbacks.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
78, that was stock.
Why?
Yeah. Four of them
That's
is
a
like
great sounding
magic.
cab. That's a great sounding cab. The 78 cab sound awesome.
Yeah.
Probably a checkered cab.
Yeah, I have a great one over here.
I've got a few of them over here.
And
I do too.
internal speaker wire gauges. Oh well, that's a whole different thing.
Well,
I mean, you could use heavier wire. The Marshall wire wasn't that heavy though, and those still sound
No.
great. Imagine that.
it's really surprisingly thin wire. That's
What was
in
it?
those
It is
old
real
cabs.
thin.
Gauge, or it wasn't probably might not have been even 18 gauge.
I don't even think it was 18. I think it's like 20 gauge.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It's really thin. It's not thick wire.
Those are probably.
Like,
are those soldered
back
too?
in the 70s, it's like
Yeah, it's
thin.
all
I
solid.
don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
78 soldered too.
You know what? If you got the original wiring in there and too, just don't. But you not fuck with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it. Works. No
Buy
reason.
another cab.
I would get another cab. Get a new production cab if you want to muck around.
Buy
with
like an 80s, something in the 80s Marshall something cab, and just pull the speakers and put whatever you want in there.
Yeah. JCM 800 cabs, early 80s ones, you
Yeah.
can get those with the 65s in them, or the G1280s that are in some of those. They sound
Yep.
amazing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've got 65s from that era, and I've got one cab behind me that's got those G1280s in it, and it sounds amazing.
Yeah, the ones over here somewhere, which you can't really see, but there's two cabs there. Underneath all those Marshalls, there's two old cabs. One is blackbacks, and one has 65s in it, also from
Nice.
the 70s, early, like late 70s. And
Dave, those cabs are in your Dying IR pack with 2 notes. Those cabs are in there, or are these different cabs?
not the 25. The green, the black back is not in the Dying IR pack, but the 65 watt is.
65s are, yeah.
Yeah.
The 65 one sounds good on those profiles.
The funny thing is those two cabs together
yeah,
are fucking wicked.
Mixed them
Yeah.
together, yeah.
Just
fills
run
out the whole spectrum, right?
You get the black back thing, and then you get the 65 thing, and it just sounds big because you're
That's the best way to mix, right? You just get
two different kinds of speakers.
two 4x12s.
You know, there was this thing recently that a couple people, John Segborn did one episode about the speakers used on like Ride the Lightning.
Yeah, I watched it.
You see that?
Yeah.
And then someone else did a fucking thing on that same thing also that I saw on the web. And it was really interesting to hear those riffs done with the different speakers. And the funny thing is, like, the 75 watt Celestion with that riff was like, fuck yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
It was like really cool.
Yeah. It's just got that sound, doesn't it? It's, you know what, also those early vented 75s.
Yeah.
They're better than the later ones.
Yeah. I think so.
Don't get me wrong. They're not like this mythical, magical thing like everyone makes them out to be, just because they're like the vented versions. But they do sound cool. They've almost got like a little bit more of the 65 thing going on.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about that. The earlier ones having something unique.
It's something interesting too. So when Van Halen started using the Soldano amp, he bought a cab. Well, first he rented a cab from Andy Brower Studio Rentals, which was just a run-of-the-mill slant cab with 75 watt speakers.
Yeah.
Original 80s, from the 80s or whatever. And he later bought that cabinet because he used it on all, like, the fuck record and stuff, the unlawful carnal knowledge record with the Soldano.
Yeah.
Because he didn't like the lower wattage speakers with the Soldano. It was too fuzzy.
Yeah.
Which actually makes a lot of sense to me.
It makes total sense.
Because the Soldano has a fuzzy character in its distortion.
Yeah. I don't like it with like greenbacks or something. To me, it's too.
The cleaner speakers are like better.
Mm-hmm.
I have this desire. I got a load of 4x12 EVs also.
Oh, we were saying about that before. Yeah, same.
I got to do that. I almost want a cab with 75s in it now too, just to have the little, to be able to like and use an amp switcher to switch between them. And you're like,
I do too.
Yeah. Kind of cool. Okay.
I've got loads of speakers sitting here that I need to put in the cabs. I've got like 6 of those blackback 75 hertz that are sitting around. So,
man, I have a slant cabinet here that's empty. That's an old one. That's just waiting for 4 of those.
Well,
I've got 4 of them too, just chilling.
I've got this great cab. It's like a 68, 69 basket weave cab that's empty.
Yeah.
And it's just begging for those 25, 25 watt black.
I have an old early 70s slant cabinet that's literally sitting on the shelf in my hallway here that has been sitting there for, I don't know, 10 years.
Yeah.
And it had been Tolex. It doesn't have any grill cloth. It has nothing. But man, it's a light cab too. It's got that resonant kind of cab thing.
Give it like a knock and it just rings.
Man, I should just rip this Tolex off this cab, make it bare wood, and then just shove some good speakers in it. It's gonna be fucking great.
Yeah, definitely. You can tell by the tap tone on the cab against the wood. Like, wrap your knuckles on it a couple of times, and you can hear it ring out. It's definitely a huge difference.
Yeah, that hollow thunk to it.
Yeah.
But not all of them are like that. Some cabs are like really dense, and like even old cabs, they vary. It depends on how the wood is.
Yeah, they're great though. The late 60s, early 70s are really cool.
I'm gonna strip it bare and just like put some speakers in it. Get some speakers and put it in it.
Yeah,
I could get it restored. So we were gonna have a tone talk the other day, but it got canceled from
Oh, the Marshall book.
Yeah, the Marshall
Yeah.
book guy, the Peter Margolis,
Yeah.
The History of Loud.
Yeah.
Dude, it looks amazing.
That
Yeah,
book,
I'll get
I
that.
looked at the book in person, right? So he has a soft cover copy of it, or just the sample. And I
Right.
looked at it every page, and I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've worked
I
on
wanna
one of those. I've worked on,
Yeah.
and it was just visually just fucking amazing.
It looks
So
awesome.
I can't wait for the hardcover because it's like,
Is that based on his personal
personal
collection?
collection.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's his
Wow.
personal collection, which is massive.
So what I know about that thing, they go right down to like examining the type of casters that were used
Yes,
on different
and
cabs.
I'll tell you why that is.
Crazy, man.
So
love it.
the guy, like his co-author Brian Ranks,
Uh-huh.
has been a guitar tech for a million years. I met him years ago. He was working for, I think, Michael Bolton years ago, right? I randomly met him because I was working with a guitar player. And then in recent years, he's worked for Dave Amato for years, who's a huge Marshall fanatic guy. And Brian used to restore Marshalls, like cabinets and stuff, retolexing and stuff, and which he'll still do for select people and stuff. And he is so deeply into, well, you got to use the right rivet and on the corner and the right corner, and like he's so into the minutia of it all, which I respect and I love
Love it.
Oh, yeah.
and
Absolutely.
the minutia of it all. So they in the book they even touch on all that subjects, like the proper screw and rivet and things for that era of thing. I talked to him about this same cabinet I'm talking about. And I go, hey, do you still restore stuff? I'd be interested in maybe restoring this cabinet, possibly, you know. Believe me, it's not cheap to do that, but
No.
Probably not.
but it might be worth it. I don't know. Because then I'd have a 3 cabinets over here, and one's a slant. So I can do, stack the heads up with the 3.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, I gotta go again.
Hey, we got Dave Hopkins.
Dave.
Shea.
What's up,
your
Dave?
buddy?
My buddy.
Hey, Dave. How you
Hey.
doing, man? You know, Dave, you there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we connected, I think, maybe a few months ago.
Yeah.
Super nice guy.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
a very nice guy. And
He lives,
Shea,
he lives very close to me.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
he's not
Yeah,
far
he's
from
in
you, right?
Brazil, and I'm in Bloomington. So it's good, I don't know, 35, 40-minute drive. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, it's cool, man. We've shared a lot of info, and then we'll get together sometimes and have little, amp nights where we just hang out and play a bunch of amps. It's super fun. Good dude.
Awesome.
We need to I need to meet Dave next time I come over, Shea.
Oh
Just
yeah, you got to.
Gonna make
Yeah.
that happen somehow.
June, coming in June, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Coming to the States again in June.
Yep. I am. I'm going to book my flights this week. I
Better
promise.
do it now. Yeah, you better do it.
I promise. No, I got it all sorted. I actually had to apply for my I did my entry visa last week, so that only takes about half an hour to fill out a form online, and I got approved straight away. So
Oh,
Cool.
nice.
yeah, lasts for 2 years. I don't know. It's probably the same for the UK citizens. Is it, Dan? You had the ETSA, they call it. I can't remember what it stands
You know
for.
what? I don't actually know what the deal is with it at the minute. I don't know. I don't know what you have to, because I don't know. Whenever I go through customs, there's no issues. I just go back and forth and everything, because I go out to Europe quite a lot. Because my girlfriend lives in Slovenia, so I'm kind of here and there and here and there.
Yeah.
Is that where you just
but
were,
she's-
Dan? Is that where you just were?
I was there. What was it?
Eating all that badass food. I saw
Oh
that.
man.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you wanna
man.
eat-
The world
if you
the
ever
world
wanna eat
food
good
tour.
food. Yeah,
You had a-
just-
you
if
had
ever
a-
wanna
you had a
eat well,
great-
just go to Slovenia.
Oh man,
Holy
look
shit.
amazing.
Yeah, they don't mess around when it comes to good food. Everything is good there. Good food, good drink.
Just like the UK, right?
We're famous for our brown food.
Or
You know what?
putting
There was this.
some sort of curry sauce on chips.
Yeah, there was this this meme that I saw the other day, and it said, "Is all English food really bad?" And it says, "If prepared correctly, yes."
You know what? That used to be more the actual case. You know, like I remember going to England years ago, and it was vastly different than going in the 2019, let's say.
Yeah,
You know, in 2019 it was far better, but back in 2000 or something, oh fuck, no,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. It's just that they
I mean,
take
Indian
any.
food, you had Indian food still, but
Yeah, you know what? You just the trick is if you live in England, you just eat like foreign cuisine as much as possible,
yes,
and
yeah,
you cook at home.
yes, exactly.
Sounds like
No,
America.
I'm taking the piss. We actually have lots of places now that are cool, but we're historically not really known for our great culinary treats.
Last time I was there, I went with at our time we had an amp tech there that did our repairs at the time, Rob Moss, and Rob worked on in a shop right there on where all the guitar shops are.
Denmark Street.
Denmark Street, yeah, upstairs at one place, and he like took us down the street. Well, first he took us down the street to a pub, which was interesting because it was that's where they were serving Samuel Smith's beer and stuff. But that was actually the pub that is Samuel Smith's or something, and it's like, I know this beer. We get it imported into the States. He goes, oh yeah. I go, but it's much better here. It was amazing. But then we actually went to dinner somewhere within walking distance of there. That there was a restaurant called Garlic and Shots.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if it's still there. I have no idea. This was
I think it might be
2018 or 2019 or something. And it was kind of a rock and roll bar. There's a bar downstairs, evidently, that's kind of a club, more bar club kind of place. But upstairs is a restaurant, and they have 100 different shots that you can have. I mean, some of them you look at the ingredients and you're like, no, just no. Not no. But some of them you're like, okay, that sounds interesting. Let's do that. And they're specialized in garlic and fucking shots, which was interesting.
Shots. It's the weirdest combination ever.
Really good. It was really good. It was kind of fun, And they're playing like old rock music.
Bad breath in there.
They're
like
playing
hard to go wrong, isn't it?
Like you're hearing Scorpions and stuff, and like you're hearing cool rock music, playing off a little stereo or boombox or something in the corner or something. And
fucking great.
I actually liked that place. That was good. But you're reading some of the shots, you're like, there's no way in fucking hell I'm doing that.
Yeah.
It'll kill me.
We got a super chat from Ego. Thanks, man. I don't see a question there, but we appreciate that. Calypso Amps. Okay. Hey, everyone. I'd like to know your thoughts on adding a noise gate to an amplifier. I think we talked about this last time, did we? Or the time before?
I mean, you can do it the cheating way with the diodes and stuff, which
works.
It works.
It does work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what they were asking last time. I think they were asking about internally doing it.
Yes. Plenty of amps that have done it with good results. I mean, I saw it in a few diesels that I worked on.
Oh
yeah.
That new the new snorkeler has one.
Yeah,
I haven't played one. Yeah,
it does.
Yeah. PV Triple X.
Yeah, well, that's sort of
that's the coring circuit.
OG version.
Yeah.
This is the coring circuit, but probably what Santiago did it in the Malmsteen amp.
Kerry King.
And then
The Kerry
With the
King's a
ASP?
different thing, though, isn't it? The Kerry King thing is the one with the chip. The what is
Yeah,
it?
it has an actual gate sound.
Yeah, like the proper like an active gate or whatever you call it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's quite extensive in the Kerry King. I think it's a great
It is.
it's a great gate.
It's the best, I think.
Yeah,
it's
it's one. It's totally amazing, that one.
Yeah.
Is that's the gate that another manufacturer used and put it on a pedal?
Well, lots now.
Yeah,
Lots now.
I think like there's probably about a dozen that are doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So,
became
yeah.
a real standard in the industry.
Yeah.
It's a good one though. It works great, phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like there's so many that exist that if the amp has a good effects loop, you really don't need to put it into an amp because there's so many pedals that can already just do it. I don't know.
It's also interesting, like with gates, because like I'm no stranger to using an absolute shit ton of gain, like with amps, and I genuinely have never ever used a gate when gigging or recording ever.
Same.
Yeah.
Never needed it. Like I never understand. Like yeah, you're going to hear some white noise on stage when you stop playing, but who gives a shit? People are too busy drinking their beer. No one cares. You know.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a
I
bit,
actually
a
think
bit of
that
white noise is fine.
there's a style of playing that it suits.
Yeah.
You know, that really percussive kind of like very, very modern kind of metal thing.
Yeah.
But that's not, I don't play like that. So I never have used a noise gate.
No.
Ever. It's just my thing.
Yeah, I suppose also it depends on like what amp you kind of cut your teeth on, you know, because like for me it was like JCM 800. So like it was just like, you know, you get used to like rolling your volume pot off like within 10 milliseconds of stopping playing. So
Totally, man.
Yeah, you get so used to it, it becomes part of your playing style, doesn't it? You know.
Yep.
And anyone who doesn't play a rig like that, they go and play through your rig, and then they're like, "Oh fuck," you know, it's everything's just screaming and screeching.
That's all the dudes. I hate to be unkind, but all the a lot of the younger guys that have only played with plugins and modelers.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they can't control anything.
You put them in front of a live loud amp, man, they don't know what to do.
Yeah. Also, if guys who have only played that kind of stuff, suddenly if you plug them into like, I don't know, even like a boosted 800. Because it's not compressed and it's like totally flat in response, it's like you really have to dig in when you play, and they're not used to that. They're used to having that really fluid, effortless thing that plugins and modelers do, and it's like, you know, it's really exposing.
Essentially, is what you're saying. I mean, I think everyone should be like, you know, locked in a room. Here's this one amp, and you have this, and here's just one guitar. Maybe it only has one pickup. Oh,
yeah.
I got plenty of those guitars.
Oh my goodness! And you got to play it at this volume all the time, and and then tell me what you get out of it in a week.
Yeah, first couple of days will be like agony.
You know, because I grew up as not having any multi-channel amps. I grew up as having a single amp, and your guitar volume was your channel.
Yeah, exactly.
Like cleaner, dirtier.
Hell, we used to use a Ernie Ball volume pedal when I was younger. Like that was the clean channel, was an Ernie Ball volume pedal, and you just turned it down a little bit, and then it was clean on a JCM 800.
That's it.
That's how we did it.
And you look at really, really great guitar players that you respect and stuff, and they'll use their volume a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot for different tonal variations throughout the whole entire night, you know?
Yeah.
You look at a guy, Mike Landau.
Mike Landau for sure.
Holy shit. Every little tiny thing, he's constantly maneuvering his volume knob and pickup selection and stuff.
Yeah, Philip Sace as well.
Yeah.
Man, he just like, even though he's got a pedal board with a few different things going on, but the majority of the time it's on the guitar, everything he's doing.
He rehearses across the street, and when he's rehearsing, we know.
He's the loudest motherfucker around.
Fucking loud.
Mm-hmm.
And it cuts through all wall. We have doors closed and everything, and literally you can hear it plain as day. Oh yeah. Oh, that's Philip Sace.
Yeah, it's brutal. He's like, I mean, when we saw him about, I don't know, I think it was a year or two ago, and it was in a little small club that we frequent, a place called Bluesiana in Austria, and it's literally like a living room. It's probably not different to the baked potato, right?
Wow, it's
And
fucked, right?
yeah, and he'd got like a Fender combo, you know, turned backwards with a plexi panel in front of it and everything, and he just got like everything on 10. And I mean, he was just blazing. It felt like you were like being pinned to the back wall of the room.
Perfect.
It's
Wow.
great. It was the best tone and the best vibe. You know, no one cares that, you know. Yeah, okay, it's a bit painful
He's
on your
amazing.
ears for them, but the vibe and the energy you get from standing there and experiencing that hitting you is like something else.
Insane.
Yeah,
He's like
so good.
fire.
Oh man,
fortunately
that dude can play.
I fortunately got to see. I've never actually seen him live. I need to.
You've never seen Philip live?
Yeah, I haven't.
Oh man, get on it.
I hear him
Seriously.
across the street all the time.
Yeah,
And I've met him a few times. But
he's a
I
really nice guy.
fortunately got to see Stevie Ray Vaughan once before he died. On his last tour, actually, with B.B. King opening. And that was like a lesson in guitar playing. I mean, I can't even explain the kind of fire that came out of that guy. You can't. I mean, yeah, it's not heavy rock or anything, but the fire that came out of Stevie was just like,
that's heavy playing. Yeah, that's like
and
a masterclass in overall performance.
Oh my god, it was like fucking incredible.
Well, that's where a lot of Philip's thing comes from.
Never forget that. I'll never forget that show.
Yeah.
And the other one that I'll never forget is I got to see Jeff Healey also play at a small there's a club out here called the shit, what was it called? Shit, I don't remember what it's called, but it's a small, like, little reasonably kind of on the large side club that was, you know, you could sit down for dinner and then you see the performance and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Coach House, that's what it was. And seeing him also was like, you know, he's playing the guitar like this, you know?
Yeah, he's incredible.
If you watch videos of him playing, he's just vicious.
Yeah.
And then he'll stand up and play it normal too. Like he'll play like the normal way. And you're like, how the fuck do you switch between the two?
Yeah.
You know? And like he was like unbelievable.
He was so fiery.
To see, is, you know, in the same vein as the Stevie Ray Vaughan kind of thing. But
incredible player.
But incredible player, singer, and just wonderful. Just that stands out in my head. Those two performances so much. I can't even begin to explain it. Because it's fierce.
Yeah, it's more than just guitar playing, isn't it? This is like overall, like this is like full on performance. It's not just like what you play on the guitar; it's how you deliver it to the crowd.
Yeah,
that's the big thing.
Fierce is what, you know. The thing is both of them were attacking that guitar like they were gonna kill it.
Yeah,
literally, like they were gonna kill the damn thing, you know. And you know,
some of the best ever
playing. It's so few and far between. You know, you don't see that much, especially now.
No. We've got a question here from Andrew. This is our last super chat. Thanks, Andrew. So, Dave, can you give any insight into the quote 0-watt power amp in the Tone King pedal and some of the new Synergy modules?
Yeah, it's essentially, so to speak, it's the phase inverter actually of an amp. I'm put it simply. There's a phase inverter involved. There's a little output transformer involved, and
so you're pushing into a tube that's configured like a phase inverter.
In an amplifier, the first thing that distorts is the phase inverter.
Yeah,
it's not really the power section, so to speak. It's the phase inverter distorting, and so in the Tone King pedal and in some of the Synergy modules like the Z-Rec. Well, actually, that's the only one so far. There is a similar phase inverter sort of deal in there. So you get that vibe of an amp, of pushing an amp. It's really cool, actually.
I'm assuming, Dave, it's like anything that, like George's amp with the effects loop must be doing something similar to that.
George is doing something like that, but I don't think he's doing it quite all. I don't really know. He's.
It's kind of a cool concept, though, right? You kind of like have a dummy phase inverter, and then
think about a phase inverter, right? So you have two different phases coming out, right?
Mm.
And then you go into an audio transformer, right? That is combining the two phases into one single phase out. So if you think about that, it's the same as an amplifier. I mean, there's some little things you got to fudge around and tweak, but you can even do negative feedback. You can do all sorts of interesting things.
Has anyone seen Billy Gibbons live?
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
I have.
I haven't. I wish I could.
Yeah, I have
Oh my God.
never seen ZZ Top.
Man, I saw him. I've never seen him until recently, in the last couple of years. I saw him at there was an event that In-N-Out Burgers, believe it or not,
Oh wow, really?
was celebrating their
That's made in heaven.
however many year existence or something, right? And of course they had ZZ Top playing at this private event, and a friend of mine was the production manager of the event. He does stuff for the girl that runs In-N-Out Burgers, and beer, In-N-Out Burgers, and music. And a carnival, and like a carnival going on, like a whole carnival, So
Sounds
this
like a
was
great time.
crazy event. They had a
Yeah,
few
sounds
different
fun.
bands, and she has a cover band that she plays in. Actually, that's kind of a high level kind of cover band. The girl that runs In-N-Out Burgers, and they played, and then I think like the band 311 played, and then I think ZZ Top played. So I got to see ZZ Top finally. I've never seen them.
Nice.
And man, that's like a lesson in vibe and groove.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Groove. And Billy plays so behind the beat. Like
Yeah.
Just yeah.
way behind, almost uncomfortably behind the beat. But it's not totally uncomfortable. As you get used to hearing it, you're just like, oh, that's so gooey, like this gooey like thing.
Just the best shuffles, right? The old
yeah,
stuff.
and
The shuffles
the
are
whole
amazing.
style of everything. He had all the magnetones like stacked up
Oh
behind,
yeah.
but all different colors and this
That was
crazy.
so cool.
Right? It looks so cool, and then the mic stands have these Z's up the mic stands, and like they're all this metal work that's been done for these mic stands, and they're so like cool, and then the outfits they're wearing are coordinated to everything, and the guitars they're playing, and like you're looking at it all going, damn, this is fucking awesome. and it was
Done properly.
awesome.
It was the first, like ZZ Top was the first big kind of outdoor arena style gig that I saw. So it would have been the mid '80s, and it was the Eliminator tour.
Awesome.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they had that was when the whole like the spinning guitars and all that stuff was all happening. Man, did it blow my mind. Far out. I never, it's one of those, everyone has those experiences when they're just like a teenager and kind of like, you're learning guitar and you're kind of like getting
Yeah.
into the whole thing, and then you have an experience like that. It was just like, holy shit.
Oh yeah.
And you never forget it.
Never forget it. I could still remember being there.
I also never forget 1984 Van Halen tour.
Oh, I never seen it.
Oh man,
That would have been amazing.
make me jealous.
Opening with Unchained. And jaw
So
hits
good.
the bottom of your jaw just hits the ground. It's like going, ah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And he was playing good on that tour.
Oh yeah, far out. That would have
It's
been amazing.
interesting when you look at Ed over the years. Like he had, like the tour before when they did Diver Down tour.
Yeah.
It wasn't playing that great.
Mm.
84, he was playing really good.
Yeah.
And like the first tour, playing amazing. The Fair Warning tour, amazing. There were the spots of different eras of where he was like up and down a little bit. He was still amazing always, but where he was sloppier or more drunk or whatever in different eras of, But 84 he played extremely well, and that was mind blowing to see on a non-line array PA, like the real
yeah.
Oh yeah.
PA, where when they hit the kick drum, it smacked you right in the chest. You could feel it, boom, right in your chest, and you could feel it, and it was just like, yes,
Yeah.
It's like,
It's nothing like it, is there?
no, the line array thing has ruined, I think, live sound to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was talking to some sound guys about that. He goes, there's nothing in the mid range. It's all subs and highs, and then you don't have any punch in the center. I go, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, man, it's all bottom end, isn't it, these days? So much freaking kick drum.
Subs for
Crazy.
the EDM crowd and the hip hop.
Yeah. So Son of Pyro, yeah, man. I saw your comment before about missing the super chat, so we did get that, thankfully, thanks to Dave. This is on the cab. Some of the wiring is not original. Thought I'd ask to redo the wiring regardless. Yeah, probably. If it's not original.
You probably use 20 gauge wire or 18 gauge wire, to redo it. I would say wire it like an original one, though, if you're going to do it.
Probably go with 18.
There's
18
different ways to wire things, but I like kind of like the original wire.
Yeah.
Which is, what is it? Series parallel or parallel series? I can't remember which.
I
Series
think
parallel.
Shea, I think like Kyle at KSR, I think they're using 18 gauge, I think.
Yeah, it's really similar.
Yeah.
It's really similar.
Yeah. You don't have to go so heavy with it. Like, I know a lot of people, like, there was a time where people were using like fucking great big, like 12 gauge wire and stuff on speaker cabs, making out like it was going to make the sound better and everything. And it's just overkill.
Yeah.
More likely to not solder it properly when it's like that,
Yeah.
This Kevin's back on Kevin had the question at the beginning about the cat variac down, you remember?
Well, if you truly lift the ground on the speaker cable, the speaker's not connected.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
If you truly lift the ground on the speaker cable, your speaker is not connected. There's no.
You're breaking the circuit.
You're breaking.
So you got no load on the amp.
Yes, very harmful.
Very harmful.
Yeah.
Don't
no
do
sound
that.
will come out either. So
don't do that, right? Because all your speakers just got a voice call, right, with a positive and a negative terminal. So you're just lifting wire.
Your dog woke up.
Yeah. finally got out of bed. Yeah.
You've been up for hours.
I know. He's the last one.
It's about lunchtime for you now, huh?
It's 10 a.m., man. Freaking.
Oh, okay.
Still early.
Lunchtime for me.
All right, we've got one more super chat here, guys. We're nearly at the 3-hour mark, so we'll try and get through the last of this. We've got Edgar asking, thanks for the super chat. I changed the filter caps of my 78-2203 3 years ago with F&Ts. They are already bulging. Did I get a bad batch or is that normal for an amp?
You sure about that? You sure
You
they're
might see
bulging?
yeah, sometimes you see a little bulge, and it's not a bulge like you would see in like a dead cap or something usually.
I don't think they're bulging.
Is the amp, has it changed?
I'd love-
Is it
I'd like
humming
to see
or
a
is it
pic.
not?
What was that? Shay?
Oh, I'd like to see a pic of what it looks
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. No, I doubt it's bad. I doubt it.
Yeah, because
3
are we talking about the part where the terminals are, or are we talking about the
On the top, probably the top cap.
Probably
Yeah.
the top.
because on the top part, where you've got the little plastic disc, that sits on
Mhm.
there, I don't know if it's plastic or not, I can't remember, but yeah, so some of those you'll see them like they'll dome a little bit, but I've seen that.
Man,
It's not a
3
problem.
years though. 3 years is not a long time.
3 years is not much,
No.
and like 4-hour shows weekly, it's fine. I mean, the more you play it, the better, I reckon. And
Yeah.
if the amp hasn't changed tonally and there's still no hum, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. I've had F&Ts fail like within 24 hours of putting them in before, but it's rare, really rare. And it's you would have like a lot of other symptoms that were coming into the situation pretty quick if it was actually failing.
Yeah, this was
Which
Western
kind of
Springs. If so, this is the reference. So I know Aquila is in New Zealand, which is where I was when I went to see ZZ Top. So 1986, man, wasn't it 1986? I think Western Springs Stadium.
I was 3 years old.
You're 3 years old.
Dan wasn't even born yet.
Fuck
I
you.
was 16. Yeah, so you were there. That's amazing. Okay. Jimmy Barnes supported is my memory. Do you guys know who Jimmy Barnes is?
I know the name. Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Australian.
An Australian singer. He was in a band called Cold Chisel, but then, and by the mid 80s, band had split up and he went solo.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy was pretty close to being the replacement for Bon Scott at one point, but it just didn't happen. Anyway, I'm sure the internet will come on and hate me for saying that because it's probably incorrect, but that's what I understood. Right. Hey, Brad's here. We've got to say hi, Brad.
So, Brad.
Holy shit! I was 2 years old. In what year?
Oh, 1986.
1986. Oh.
I was 3.
You young boys.
I wasn't even there yet.
How old are you, Dan? 36?
Yeah, I was born in 88. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So my first house in 81.
You and me pretty close, aren't we, Dave? What are you, 69, 70, 71, somewhere in there?
68.
68, okay.
I'm 56.
Oh, you were born in the year.
I was born in the proper year.
You were born in the year, too.
I have a Marshall that old.
Yeah, this is it, man. This
Yeah.
is the get in an amp of your birth year. That's the one.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's not that great for me. It's like an 88 Marshall.
88.
It's like,
That's not so good.
An 88
Yeah.
2203. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
With the three can caps, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that old chestnut.
Funny enough, I think I've got one of those that's my birth year.
Dave is a 12 series.
Yeah.
12 series. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
The best ones, man. It was the fucking best.
That's true. That's one.
Right.
All right.
Dude, one thing about you, Dan, that I think is so cool because you're young and you've been in this space. Like you found your career so young in life. Like
I know, right? It's weird.
Wow, dude.
You start doing this.
How old were you? Like 18 or 20 when you started doing this?
Well, I was fiddling with amps, probably from like 17 or 18.
Yeah.
And then
what year did you get involved with Fortin and then start doing his mods? That's when you took off.
Well, let me think. This would have been. We were working on that mod like back and forth because Mike wasn't doing amps full time back then. I think he worked for Yamaha.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
daytime. So he was doing his own amp business, like on the side at that time, and we were like playing around with mod ideas and everything. I think that must have been like late 2009,
Yeah.
and then in 2010, I think I posted up clips of it on like Rig Talk and maybe on HRI,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh yeah.
like instantly, like I think it was like within a month, I had like 6 months worth of mod work,
And then you never stopped.
Yeah, it just never stopped. But yeah, just
Yep.
kind of, what it's like though, this sort of industry, it goes by word of mouth a lot as well.
Totally, man.
So
Yeah.
so it just kind of kept going. And then obviously, I think 1 year later, 2011-ish, 2012, Mike got hired by Randall, and then
Yeah.
he wasn't doing mods or anything. He wasn't doing mods or anything. He just passed all the work to me. He's just like, oh yeah, if anyone contacts me, like I can't do mods for him because I'm working for Randall, so I'll pass them to you. So
That's
straight
cool.
away, I got all of his workload, like the mods and everything, ever since.
That's
And
great.
so yeah, it just kind of carried on ever since then.
That's
Great.
cool, man.
Yeah,
This
I
is
love
like
it. I mean,
when I first got to speak with Edgar Lenz or Eddie Lenz.
yeah,
Similar, right? Like
yes,
he was into an amp at that like 18 or 19 or whatever, you know, like
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's if you're a tone chaser, and you kind of go into this stuff, it's like you end up like head first down the rabbit hole, and then there's no way out.
Oh yeah.
It's just obsession.
Oh man, you can't help it. It's just becomes
it's pure obsession.
an obsession that turns into a
But you've got to love it. You've got to love this stuff, because it's I mean, for me,
I still enjoy
love
doing it.
this.
I still enjoy doing it. Yeah, I love
Totally same.
it. Yeah,
It's I mean, like, sometimes if you're doing the same thing a lot, sometimes you go through a bit of a phase where you just want to switch it up and do other things. But that's the great thing about doing this. You kind of have a bit more freedom, and it's great.
yeah.
I love doing it.
I like it when people like talk to you about something and you're like, oh, I wonder if I could do that.
Yeah.
And then like you go down this path of like delving into something that you probably have no idea what you're doing at the time, and you're just like, I think I could do this. Let's see. But I think I can figure out a way to get what you're asking me to do. And then you learn something new out of it, because you're constantly learning, and you never stop. I mean, I've been doing this for a million years now, but you never stop learning new tricks, because
All the time.
There's little things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Loose time. We need an amp called the rabbit hole with lots of knobs.
Yeah. Every single part like adjustable,
In reality, you don't want it with lots of knobs, though. You don't want it with lots of switches either, because it confuses people severely.
You know what though? It could be quite easy to do. You just make like a standard like 4 gain stage circuit and just fill it with like decade boxes that are like mounted on the front. You just figure it out yourself. Like,
good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. You'll figure it out, and then they're thoroughly confused.
You just have to like completely close off your emails at that point afterwards.
Yeah. So like, what do you think? Should I put the first one on setting 2 and the fourth one on setting 5? I don't know. Whatever you want.
Well, I got an email from someone asking when the 4 of us were going to collaborate and create an amp.
I've got tons of those messages.
Yeah,
tons of those. We have to do it.
Can you imagine?
That would be an interesting collaboration, and how we would do that. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Send a chassis to everyone.
Yeah. You have to build one each. Everyone has to have one, and then you work on it. You see.
All right, check this out. Here's a proposal before we hop off, because we're getting close. But so this, the club secret thing that me and Jason are doing, that was pretty much what that idea was just collaborations together.
Yeah.
And it's just our little free thing that we get to do that with and have fun with. But it would be I think it would be super cool if Friedman and Gower made one.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you guys
Oh, man.
collabed on one, it would be
Oh
easier
my
than
god!
4 people.
Can you imagine how this would actually happen though? Fuck, we'd be like,
No, we could do this.
You could
And-
do it.
probably.
And I've been thinking about this actually
Yeah,
Really?
man.
because we have a really large ability to make that happen
Oh yeah, you do.
in a bigger way.
Yeah.
And that would be an interesting
I think it'd be cool as hell.
And
We
Dave, we have
the
a
limited production run would be like
limited run. And
Yeah.
Dave, we have a backbone of an amp design that I worked on for you or with you.
yeah.
You could use that as a starting point for something.
Could
know.
or we could do something different.
Yeah. Very
That'd be cool.
interesting.
I don't know.
It'd be cool.
Possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guys would love it.
You got to work out the percentages and who gets what and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a percentage points and
That's just
whatever.
a
And then you just get a check in the mail,
yeah.
or not a check, but a wire or whatever.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't have to do anything and I get money. Yes.
Somebody said I have to jump on the Gower Man amp. Gower Man.
The Gower man.
Here we go.
Gower man.
It's like Superman.
There you go. I would like to see an amp made by all 4. There you go.
That's harder.
It'd be
Yeah.
It's way harder.
It's easier. It's definitely easier with 2 people. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's. I can
Yeah,
imagine.
well,
it
imagine
chaos.
that. Friedman Gower, I reckon.
Yeah, it'd be sick.
Start the waiting list now.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I'm
Well,
not saying no.
no, well,
Could happen.
that's something to think about over the next few
Definitely.
days.
David
Hmm.
Hopkins gave $10 for something.
Oh.
Yeah, he was just saying hi. You were.
Oh yeah, you just
bathroom break.
jumped out for a second there, Dave. So we said hi to Dave.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dave. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, we're 3 hours and 10. We've still got 132 online. So thanks to everyone that tuned in and hung around. We'll be back in 4 weeks, give or take. Yeah.
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 And
I'm down.
thanks for staying up so late, Dan.
Oh, no sweat.
I guess
Sit up and drink whiskey, right?
What is it? It must be after 1 for you now.
Yes, 1:20.
Oh, yeah.
It's all good.
You're late. You're
I'll
late.
sleep in the morning.
He didn't have any kids.
You stay
He
up
didn't
late.
have any kids.
No, you know what? I'm not really a night owl. I used to be. I used to stay up till like 3, 4 in the morning sometimes and just sleep half the day away. But like now I'm kind of a bit more of an early morning person.
Yeah.
But I can manage, it's no big deal.
You're young. You can still do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like me and Dave. All right, I'm gonna end this, guys.
And then
We'll see
you
you next time.
like at 10 a.m. and there's something in the morning, right?
Yeah. Still
Yeah.
I've got a whole day ahead of me. All right. See you guys.
See ya.
Cheers.